Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Horror Rumble.
What's up,
Yes.
buddy?
How you doing?
Doing all right?
Love my hair.
Yeah, it looks all right.
That's as nice as I'll ever get out of him about hair. So we got a great show tonight. I know it's my favorite franchise of the horror genre. How about you?
Well, there was a term going around a few years ago about being a Paul Heyman guy. I'm a Freddy guy, so
Excellent. Excellent. Well, hopefully we've got some more fans this time in our entrance, but it's also good to have some, what do you call it?
a little heat and little beef going on.
Some people who may not love it quite as much as us.
Hey,
Let's find out.
All right, who we got coming in?
Bring them in. You got the power tonight.
All righty. Let's start off with this ugly fucker who seems to think that I'm the worst person in existence.
Hey, buddies!
How you doing, bro?
What's up, Steak?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
I wish I could stay the whole time, but
Yes, unfortunately, Saucy will have to leave us early, but I think at about 15 minutes before I know for sure he has to dip, we're going to give him the mic, the panel,
oh boy,
and just finish off.
Do we
his
really
thoughts on
think
the
that's a
series.
smart idea?
I'm just gonna finish everybody off.
All right. Let's see who else we got. Oh, let's start off with this guy right here.
Ooh, I don't think he was expecting that. The
What's
world
up?
famous Christian Hannah Horror.
Three
Thank you
fingers
for coming.
deep.
How you doing? How you doing?
CHH, brother. Thank you for coming.
Whatever
That's
it was
cool.
it finger looking good?
Yeah, it's the watermelon monster.
That's some
So,
good shit, brother.
Watermelon.
That's the best monster, by the way.
Yeah,
They don't tell you that in school.
Let's try and mix this up a little bit here.
What's up?
What's going
Sam.
on?
Sam.
Not much. This is going to
And
be an
somebody-
interesting night.
I hope so.
Dr. CZ Death in the chat, having a new nightmare waiting. Well, we're
I'm
here
sorry.
now.
It's just like we haven't even barely started the stream, and he's already making everyone suffer with bad jokes.
I love it.
Well, somebody's got to.
Blu-ray. And Chris.
Ew.
Do you want me to send you the link, Chris? And,
Come on, Chris.
All right, let's bring our next entrant on.
What's up? Well, love you too, Steak.
Flesh
Yeah.
Wound Dan Shine of Flesh Wound Features.
Nice to meet you guys tonight. I don't know if it beats the watermelon, but I got the pecan.
It doesn't, but I hope you enjoy it.
Close.
Watermelon.
Watermelon, I love.
Damn, man, I gotta go get my fruity fucking energy drink. Hit
Fruity
y'all with a little
fucking
white
fruity.
peach Zoa.
Oh. All right.
Excited to talk about the show tonight.
I'm very excited. So let's.
Oh wait, is this a
continue.
post show? Is this a discussion about the show?
Yes,
Oh,
this is the kickoff, Steak.
oh great.
We're ranking the porn parodies first, then we'll
Call
get
me
to the
Sam
main
Roberts. Last professional mongoloid.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-da.
Oh yeah.
Well, we got one more. Last but certainly not least. That is
Got a
one.
little penis in
I
his
don't need
mouth.
to see a quarter that close.
I'm cussing anybody out tonight that disrespects, quite frankly, any of these films. I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm not in a good mood. So
Bring it. I love it.
All right. Well, last but certainly not least.
What's up, noobs? How's it
Who the
going?
fuck is that?
It's your boy Art coming through.
Coke gang.
Yeah, son. Shit. You're gonna be disrespecting me, son, because I'm gonna be disrespecting your movies, bitch.
You know
Oh,
what?
you're gonna get it.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's on.
You know what? I don't care that you broke your leg in 6th grade.
Damn.
What's up, Daily Ghost? Thanks for coming, man.
That's what my
One of
wife
these
said
days-
last night.
I said keep it out of there.
And Mike, hello.
Oh, Mike, the real fifth Beatle. Good to see you.
Mikey, that's it's just don't know about this movie right here, mate. I'm not sure about it.
He's a jerk of all jerks.
I'm not sure about this one. When it
If
comes
your
to
time
5
aligned
cream,
with us.
5 cream, I just don't know.
Just 5 cream. That's the name of it, man. If Mike's time worked out, he could be on here defending our wonderful
Mike ain't
British
doing a
accents.
goddamn thing. He's obviously in the chat. Just hop
It's
on,
the
Mike.
weekend.
Hop on, Mike. Are you still in the
Fucking
woods? Or some shit?
Brilliant.
Only slasher with a 1-800 number. That is true. It was a 900 number, I think, actually, wasn't it? Ben Grimm?
That shit was not free.
No. I think you could get like a little message at the beginning, but then Freddie wanted your credit card number or something.
That's how they get you.
So before we jump in real quick, because we don't usually have a section for these, but there's with Nightmare on Elm Street, there's been several video games from the original NES one and even earlier on like Commodore 64 and old computers in the 80s had a Nightmare on Elm Street video game. The TV series Freddy's Nightmares, tons of other media, comics, merchandise, as you saw, some of CHH's. And then, of course, the Never Sleep Again documentary. Any thoughts on any of those quick you guys might have?
Well, I want to
before
give a quick shout out to the Nightmare on Elm Street Valium.
Yeah, I was not aware of
Shouts out
that.
Russia, Putin. Let's get that back on the market. Let's start exporting that. Okay.
That is one of the most. I can't top that, but that is one of the most definitive docs. Never Sleep Again. I was so impressed when that first came out. It kind of, whenever another set comes out, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
how many more extras do you need now?
Yeah.
They said it all in that documentary. I don't
Yeah.
think there's any documentary that's come after that has been subpar, and that includes what they ended up calling Never Sleep Again 2, I Am Nancy,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Can
and the
anybody?
Scream Queen.
Can you
Sorry.
explain to me what the hell? Okay, so when they get to the portion of Freddy's dead, the blonde hair broad in the movie, what the fuck is going on with? She has some weird simp broad on her like knees, like leaning on. What the
So,
hell am I What's going on there?
Basically, Leslie Dean has created a second career, if you want to call it that, as a shock punk front
Artist?
person. Yeah, I guess, and that's just part of her spooky persona. Just to
Okay.
have
They
a little dog girl.
Yeah, they don't even reference.
And this
it in
one's
the
not
doc,
even on
which-
OnlyFans.
which I thought was kind of like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to wonder if it's probably related to the fact that Freddy's Dead caused her to remember that she had repressed childhood memories, and well, everybody deals with things their own way.
Now I'm crazy. Look at me.
And yeah, Freddy was on MTV a lot for little
Oh, he was all over.
promos.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be damned.
Oh, before we go, you're right, Ben. I remember watching this. Was it even Nightmare 5? Might have even been earlier than that. It was that show, and I can't remember the name. You can look it up. But it was on Nickelodeon. He was a guest on it.
He was
First
going to
time.
host Raw at one point.
Yeah!
It didn't
I think
happen.
wasn't it the Nickelodeon show Show Us Your Feet, Cuties?
No, this was early. This was 8
Oh.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah, they didn't do that
1980s.
back in the 80s.
Well, they
This
did,
is-
but they were more open about it.
Pre-creepy foot guy.
And the cocaine.
Oh, the guy from Head of the Class.
Maybe.
It was an old late 80s TV show. Had the guy who played Johnny Fever on WKRP in Cincinnati was playing a teacher.
Who
Howard
brought the old-
Hesterman?
Who brought
Yeah.
the old guy?
But
Hey, Mikey.
the one guy you guys are talking about played one of the students in that class.
I remember Robert Englund also hosted an evening at the Improv one time. He didn't actually do any stand up, but this came on like a long time ago when I was really young and definitely in a Freddy phase. And I was so excited to see him in the TV guide. I know, the paper TV guide. But yeah, and I believe he wore the glove on stage too, but he was just pretty much like the MC.
Hey, Griffin. Thanks for coming, man.
I could see Bridget Fonda.
Why is he Chinese?
I'm pretty sure that's the kanji for death in Japanese. But I mean, I don't know what it means in Chinese. Could mean the same
What's
thing.
the difference?
Damn, steak.
I couldn't tell you for sure just how it's pronounced.
Whoa.
Okay. Well, shall we go on to or start it?
Hey, this is your world, buddy. I'm living in it.
I'm sorry. A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. It's glorious. It's possibly my favorite horror movie of all time.
It sucks.
You're a trolling orc.
He's trolling. How'd you get this number?
Orc might become the gayest man alive tonight.
Hey, how can you become gay if you already are, you know? Yeah,
I said the gayest.
yeah, but I already am. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna.
I know what I'm saying.
Well, let's start from the bottom. Why do you? I thought you liked the first one, and you were going to be more hateful as we go on.
I'm a top, so go with me last.
Okay.
Yeah.
Corey, do you want to start? Or should we start with
Well,
Saucy?
why don't we start with steak?
Start
Go
with
ahead and
steak.
start with steak.
I've never seen this. I don't know. No, obviously. I mean, it's fine. It's the first. It's important. You need to have it. Doesn't rank terribly high for me. Especially, I'm positive this will be the lowest. I'll have the lowest ranking of this movie out of all of us.
Wow.
Langenkamp's fine. I mean, Freddy's not what he would become. I prefer him even in the second one a shitload more than I do in this one. Like, you don't see a lot of him, and that can be a good thing. But it's the first one. There's a lot of the mythology, I guess, for lack of a better term, that hasn't been quite nailed down. Just different shit that I wasn't born until the entire series, save for the New Nightmare, was, fucking in and out of theaters. So I've always had that whole thing locked up and locked down for me to kind of know about. So I didn't get to. I'm not old like Kory, so I didn't get to see. Jay's not here. You're the next. Someone's got to take it. So I didn't get to kind of see it build and change and mature and all that. So it just doesn't have the same kind of chutzpah, I guess, for lack of a better term, as some of the other ones do.
Okay. I'm very surprised at that response, but honest and I'll accept it.
Well, thank you.
Christian.
I love it.
One.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's still my third favorite. I don't know what to say, dude. It's great. I like Nick Kory, whatever the hell his real name is. I don't remember.
Jesus Garcia.
Yeah. John Saxon is a god.
Oh, yeah.
I would fuck him. I love it, dude. I love it. I love the music, all that shit. It's I kind of like the red sleeves now on the part one movie, where it's just like solid red sleeves. That I don't think they ever did that again. I think after that it was mostly, but I kind of dig the red sleeves on Freddy now. Yeah, it's better than Halloween, easily. I really don't think Halloween is. People need to get the fuck over Halloween. Fuck you, Orc. You son of a bitch.
They do.
Listen, man. Christian, I'm a Nightmare guy. The first Halloween is better than Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, no.
Well, you know what?
Past that, yeah, fuck Halloween. I really
People just need to get the fuck over it.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
As a concept, sure.
I'm sure Sam will double down. At least I hope so. But I'm done.
No,
it's my third favorite.
I'll agree.
Okay.
I mean, because one, Okay, so if we're talking about Scream Queens, which was a huge part of the reason why I liked Nightmare on Elm Street so much, is Nancy proactively came up with a strategy and trapped Freddy. Laurie's just running around screaming like a loser. So, also Freddy's a better villain. It's just, I mean, perhaps artistically, maybe Halloween has a slight edge here and there with the shots, but it's not as much fun as Nightmare on Elm Street is, at least for me.
That's very true. I think for most of the whole franchise, if you're putting it up there, it's Nightmare is such a fun horror slasher.
Jess,
and
too.
still scary.
Something I've thought about. I've thought about. I've talked about this a little bit. So you know how people call like the early '80s the heyday of the slasher genre, and they were pumping them out every fucking month in like 81, 82, 83. If Nightmare didn't happen, think about what the rest of the '80s would have been like. Because Nightmare came really when the slasher shit wasn't dead, but like, dude, it was like, you know, the sophomore slump is like a lot of bands have, where it's like all this great stuff comes out, then the crappy ones come out. If Nightmare didn't happen in '84, looking at the rest of the '80s would have been so interesting. After what would have happened, because Nightmare, I mean, he was.
It recharged it, basically.
It recharged. It really did. So it's always interesting to wonder if Nightmare did not come out in '84, what would have happened.
That's yes, definitely something to think about. It could have been dead by the late '80s.
There's no telling what the hell would have happened, dude. No telling, you know.
Might have been like what the early to mid '90s was for us with horror by the mid to late '80s. If Nightmare wasn't around,
it changed the tone of the horror genre big time. I mean, just going into the next year that quick. I mean, horror was never the same. I'm surprised. I really thought everybody would say that the original was the best tonight, because I think it is by far. I don't think any of the sequels got close for me.
Bullshit.
I'm not hating on the sequel. I just don't think any of them got close to the original. The original is one of the best horror films of the 80s. I love the original. It's strange. It's really, in a way, the strangest franchise, in the sense that when you consider what Freddy is, I mean, a child killer, and he becomes this pop culture icon with his, and I didn't bring merchandise to show except one thing. I mean, you could go into Toys R Us and buy, which he signed this one. Oh, definitely one of the cooler. Probably can't get the whole thing in frame, but yeah, I mean, you could buy Freddy stuff at Toys R Us of all places. And the guy's a child killer. The character's a child killer. It's insane to me.
Footy pajamas.
Yeah, footy pajamas. Like he just showed the doll.
Pajamas.
I mean, little kids were Freddy for Halloween, when stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
this was also a decade where we had Rambo cartoons and RoboCop cartoons.
Attack of the Killer Tomato.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, all these rated
Yeah.
R movies get Nintendo games. It's like, God, it was so awesome. It was so freaking awesome.
It blows my mind. And every time I go to a convention, the sheer amount of merchandise, and it never slowed down. I'm going to say there's more Freddy stuff than probably any other horror character. And I don't think it's even close, to be honest, because it's insane how many Freddy dolls, figures there are at this point. I'd like to see more from other characters in the franchise, but yeah, no, I think the original, it just lightning just didn't strike twice. I can probably have a complaint about every sequel. That's not to say that I don't like a lot of them, but
I was going to say, but most are worthy. They're all worthy sequels to me.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, but some are.
I'd say the majority of them are, with the exception of the remake wouldn't count in this case. I would like to just burn
That's the only one Jess likes.
I'd like to erase that movie forever.
Is this Sean?
Hello, you fucking homos. Good to see you this evening. I'm just over here waxing my carrots.
You're doing what to your what?
Where are you, Sean? And Ben, exactly. I'm glad you agree. And don't get me wrong. I think, and all of us, I think, love the Halloween.
No. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Fuck Halloween.
Fuck Halloween.
Okay, fuck Halloween tonight.
Halloween is better than Nightmare on Elm Street.
Hey, guess what, Orc? You're
What?
gonna die. You're gonna die one day.
You're gonna die tonight.
I'm gonna die one day too.
That's awesome.
Not me. I've been
First
killing
Nightmare on Elm
babies,
Street.
harnessing
Nightmare
their
on Elm
power.
All right,
Harnessing your
Orc.
power. First one I'd rate 9 out of 10. I'd put I call it the big four, not the big three. I throw Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise in there as well.
I'll
I
agree.
give Halloween and TCM 10 out of 10. And then Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, I give both 9 out of 10s. Yeah.
Oh, these are just the original movie. In
The
each
original
section.
movies.
I do
Yeah.
respect West Side, baby. West
10
Side.
minutes. Oh, okay.
West
Yeah.
Side.
Oh,
Yeah.
that I could deal with.
I don't think there's ever been an Elm Street movie as bad as Halloween Kills. I will
No.
say that much.
No,
No,
there
dude.
hasn't.
No,
Even
of
the
course
remake.
not. Every Elm Street is better than Halloween.
Halloween Kills.
Halloween.
Halloween.
Halloween. Okay. This is getting hot tonight. What do Bill Cosby and Freddy Krueger have in common? What's-
Did our
Right,
did our
yeah.
projector break? Are we doing fucking open night mic at the theater now?
He does
Welcome.
get pretty rapey in the last couple of movies,
He does.
which
He does.
I will complain about when we get there.
Pudding
Oh,
open
Give it.
pop.
Cliff Booth, everyone.
Props to Cliff for not going for the obvious sweater joke.
I think the sweater joke would have been better, frankly.
You mama.
That's just me.
It's true, Ghost. It's true. And Griffin says he'd rather watch Freddy's Dead over every Halloween sequel that was released after Season of Witch.
Mm,
Yeah, I would too.
Fuck yeah! What's your
Fuck
little
yeah.
Freddy buddy?
All right, Griff.
It's adorable.
you Freddy buddy?
do you have duels
wait,
with the Hulk Hogan one?
No, dude. I have Diamond Dallas Page, like the
Oh my
WCW one. Bang! I could never get the pin to work though. Every now and again, I'll get the count, the 3 count, but I don't know where the hell that thing's at. It's somewhere in the closet.
High five.
I just noticed the Freddy dangling from your mic.
Bang!
Well, Kory.
Well, before I start, can we pull up that picture that I put up there?
Oh shit!
Okay.
Okay. Now, is it just me? This is supposed to be the original concept for the makeup, but does this look like a really old Patrick Swayze?
Not Patrick Swayze,
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
I see
yeah.
Patrick Swayze.
Oh
If-
man, I do.
Let me-
I would have to go.
She's like the wind.
I'd have to Photoshop that mullet, like that Roadhouse mullet, on him to kind of see. But
I'm curious. I think you'll all get this one, but does everybody know who the original actor was that was going to play Freddy? Off the top of your
David
head?
Warner.
yeah,
Oh, good one, Stick. There you go. That would
I've
have
watched
been
that
interesting.
fucking documentary more than I've watched most things.
Yeah, didn't they have some makeup like this? They were working on David Warner too. There's a photo out there somewhere.
I wonder where the franchise would have gone with Warner. Great
Not-
actor, but
Not
it would.
very far.
And I agree, he's a good actor for sure. But there's just something about
It's-
Robert that
but
just
here- you know,
lightning
Justin,
in a bottle.
it's
Yeah.
so hard to. It's like it's true, but like honestly, it's hard to answer that question because if that would have happened, there's no way to say Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger. You can't say that because it never happened. It's one of
That's
those
true.
you want you can't want something that you don't know about. The guy very well could have been great, but it would have been different. Sure.
Mhm.
I said when they cast him, not to say anything good about the remake, but Jackie Earl Haley wasn't a bad choice. It's a very good actor.
So
I mean,
uphill battle, whoever the fuck got that job.
Yeah,
man.
if
Yeah.
you told me you can't have England and somebody brought up Jackie Earl Haley, he'd probably be, certainly on a short list for me.
Get it? Charlotte.
Charlotte.
He's tiny.
He said Charlotte.
Well, just a few things that nobody else mentioned. Obviously, this movie introduced Johnny Depp. Something that I didn't know until like the first time I seen it, obviously, I had told the story before that I was at my grandfather's house and he was actually dubbing the first two Nightmare movies over from VHS to beta. Don't ask me why, but he decided he wanted to do this in the living room, even though he had TVs and stuff set up in other parts of the house. And me and my cousins were spending the night, so we were forced to watch these. The origin of the movie and everything being based on a true story, or even semi based on a true story, I always thought was shocking. But one thing that I noticed recently when going back and rewatching was that the final fight is essentially a cage match. Nancy's mom had already put the bars on the windows, and it never registered in my head until just a couple of days ago. But it's essentially a cage match. The house acts as the cage. My only problem with this movie is that last part, just when Nancy turns her back on Freddy, falls a little flat for me. But the rest of the movie is awesome. I love this movie.
Kory, you just made this movie so much better for me by referring to it as a cage match, and I didn't think it could get better. So thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
I really do. That's awesome.
Occasionally, I do hit on something. So
I want that convertible so bad with the Freddy convertible
yeah.
top. Can you
Right?
imagine driving
Oh,
around
yeah.
that thing?
You'd
That would
scare
be
the
sweet.
shit out of so many people. It'd be amazing.
And Kory, you're referring to the blow up doll that gets thrown through the window is what you'd get rid of, right?
no, I'm talking when Nancy's
The
leaving her
animated
mom's
effect
room,
when he dives into her back and he magically disappears.
it kind of falls flat for me.
I don't think
You've
that's
got that
quite as
big
bad as the
buildup.
door thing, though, with the blow up doll.
I
going through the
mean,
window.
Sauce actually turned me on to the blow up doll scene. I didn't love it at first, but he said, "Christian, really, you need to watch that scene with a keen eye," and I
You would
love
do
it
that.
now. Ain't that right, Sauce?
It's so fun. It's just fucking ridiculous.
I've got the image now of Jim Ross calling a cage match with
My God!
Nancy. By God, she broke him in half. Just Freddy crashing through the announcement.
And I've got to have that Jerry Lawler. What? You know, that high pitch. What? What?
I feel like they got high, like they were higher pitched when puppies were out.
Oh my God! I love the King. Oh,
Remember
shit.
when he didn't wear shirts on Monday Night Raw? He just wore his tights and
Yeah.
the classic
and it's
blue,
just
right?
like a fur sweater. Just
I miss his outfit. I love the classic blue with like the gold pants. Like that's
Fuck
the
yeah.
King,
Oh yeah.
you know. And he's
Absolutely.
always got his arm over JR's chair when he's at the table with him when they have the camera on him. Like he's just so close to Jim like this. I love that shit. They're such buddies, you know. Oh, God.
This would have been the year we could have had a Robert Englund match at WrestleMania.
What?
We could have.
What?
What's wrong with you?
I would have watched
Right?
that WrestleMania if that were.
What's your obsession with the elderly?
We could have seen Robert Englund hit a Canadian destroyer on somebody.
The
It would have
mandible
been-
claw, right?
Get him out of here.
Think up.
Oh, he somehow locked the button out.
Oh shit.
Well, the final one, I guess, my nightmare story. I was 5 years old in the living room. My parents, I think my sister might have, handed it to my parents who they liked horror. My mom's a big Halloween fan, not to bring up that again, but
Poor woman.
So we watched it, and I begged to watch it with them. So I'm on the couch. They do the whole parent thing, and they cover your eyes during certain scenes, but of course you see through, or you look anyway. Loved it. Terrified. Other than the swamp thing, I think it was the first true horror movie I had seen. Of course, another Wes Craven. And ever since then, I was obsessed with Freddy from that moment on. He terrified me. I had dreams about him, but I was obsessed.
Oh yeah.
And so, it is my favorite. Nostalgia may have a lot to do with it, as it does for many of us, but it's a truly horrifying movie.
It's your
getting into your
favorite
dreams.
one in the franchise, or your favorite movie?
It's my favorite in the franchise. I'll say that. I mean, there is one that comes a close second, which most people agree with too. But it's hard to not say this original. It's not just because it started it all. It is just, it's a terrifying movie.
Can we get a close up on Jess?
Why do I have a booger hanging out of my nose again?
Let's take that hat off there. Let's take a good look at that. Is that one of the tattered?
It's the one you had, I thought.
Well, I have one that's like frayed. and
From
all that
Spirit
shit.
Halloween?
It's got like cuts in it.
I don't know. It was a gift
Is
a
that
couple years
just a
back.
regular.
It's
Yeah.
mostly irregular. I think the wear and
Close
tear
enough.
is most just wear.
Okay. Now mine was fabricated that way. I was just curious because that's the only that yours is the only one I can find online now. And if I had lost mine like I thought I did, I would have had to go on a spree.
Hey, can we
You
get a
fa-
close up on steak right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You bastard.
I don't like this.
Bastard.
Yeah, look at that sexy beast.
He's got the pepperonis in his beard. Just
oh, we love you, Saucy.
No, you
Let's-
don't.
Well,
Sauce.
just
Yeah, I do.
Jess, one more thing, just for the
Okay.
record, I have to agree with Christian that I do think that Elm Street is better than Halloween.
Fuck yeah.
Well, who doesn't on this panel? Come on, except Orc.
nice.
Get it, Cor. The split dog. He's got the split dog. Oh shit. What?
From Return of the Living Dead? What?
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
him.
God. Come here.
That reminds me, how the hell do you guys vote that movie over Nightmare on Elm Street?
Easily. Fucking
What
so
happened?
easily.
Corey,
No.
dude,
That is
that's a really good
Wrong
question.
on so many levels.
The thing is,
You're wrong.
Corey, you gotta like the thing about Return to Living Dead. It's not just the actual movie. Like that soundtrack is embedded in me and Steak's like bloodstream. Everything about that movie is so perfect to us that everything behind the scenes about that movie, the actors, Clu Gallagher, everything
From Freddy
about that
2?
movie
I'm not
is like
saying it's
in
a
my
bad
blood.
movie. I
But,
like
like,
the movie,
98%
but
of it
I
is
don't
the
think it's
fucking
better
movie.
than Nightmare on Elm Street.
And it is
That's
a better
and that's yeah. That's totally fair. But like
Round
I will
one,
take a bullet
fight.
for Return to Living Dead.
They're two different tones, two different movies. I'll be honest. I like Return of the Living Dead as a franchise. The first three
It's hard to
Uh,
match those up. You're
more
right,
than
Dan.
more than Halloween or Elm Street, personally.
Okay.
I like my dogs. Never mind.
I mean, I'm
I
Nightmare
like
on
my
Elm Street
dogs
wins
like
for
I
me,
like
but
my women.
I do have to
Split
agree with
two.
them. It is a solid movie. I love the Return of the Living Dead, especially that first movie, and then the two sequels right behind it. It ranks up there high, that franchise. But
3 ranks very high for me.
For life.
Really?
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
all right then.
Is that Christian's way of saying he likes the fourth one in that
Mhm.
franchise?
There we go.
I don't think so.
What? There's only three. There are only three. There are only three.
It's game time, boys. Let's do it.
Let's go,
The man
son.
of your dreams
Let's
is
go.
back.
There's Orc in his younger days there in the background.
Fuck yeah. They used to call me Romantic Dawn.
Are you talking about the crow?
I thought you were talking about the bird.
I thought you were talking about the bird.
So did I.
Or it used to be a bird. Damn.
Big black bird.
Fuck yeah.
VHS
see-
for life.
VHS cover.
This is the cover
Yep.
that I'm familiar with. Like,
I
Same.
figured a lot of you
I-
might be. This is the only other non-theatrical poster I think I.
That's
pulled
great
up
art,
here.
dude.
It is
Yeah,
great art, and
media,
I
that's-
remember it in the video store at like
Yep.
6-7 years old.
Fuck yeah, dude.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. I got a question for everybody.
Okay.
When Jesse was doing that damn dance in his bedroom, did anybody else get really embarraed for him?
No.
No.
Okay, it's just me. Great.
I got
I got a
embarrassed
boner.
that I was watching it. Like it's kind of like you know,
All night long.
Bow, bow, ba-da, ba-
thought my
bow,
parents were gonna
bow,
come in and be
bow,
like, "Okay, horror's one thing, but this is something else."
Donald! Are you a sodomite?
And I almost forgot to bring this up. Christian did an awesome cover of that song, by the way, and
It was
I
okay.
almost
It
cut
was
together
okay,
a
yeah.
gay video to it.
Thank you, thank you.
You still
All
have time. You can
night
still cut
long.
together a gay video.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can still do that, man.
Dude,
You know,
dude,
After I watched the Mark Patton Scream King doc, I revisited this and I was
Queen,
hoping
Scream Queen.
Scream Queen. Yeah.
Scream Queen. My bad.
Fucking
I thought that I thought that I was gonna like this more. I was like, maybe I'll like it this time, and I still don't. And I don't have a good. Freddy is still scary at this point, so I should like it more. But I don't love this movie.
Can I jump in, Jess? Is
Yeah,
it okay?
Of course.
I have a problem with the term "still scary." Let's get something straight. Freddy in Part 2 is way fucking scarier than any Freddy in this entire series. It's not even
Except
close.
one.
This
Hard
is
to
try
it's
to
not
make
even
the
close.
movie
Freddy in Part 2 would ass rape Freddy in Part 1.
Oh my!
I
Well,
mean,
I know,
this
because we're
Freddy
obviously gay under overtones. We're aware of it.
exactly. I mean that literally and metaphorically. No,
But we're gonna really dive into that part, I guess. Then, because
yeah, I have no
wanna
problem
argue
saying
that.
this. This is easily my favorite. This one, I don't care that the production's a little sloppy. They reuse some shots with them doing the push-ups, and this one has that X factor that I can't really explain. It's the scariest one. I love Nightmare 2. It's my favorite one, hands down, in this series. Way hands down.
Got the best makeup for sure, in my opinion.
Jaeger
dresses.
killed it. The red
makeup
eyes,
was
everything
good.
about it.
Yep.
Help yourself, fucker. It's the best line in
That
the
is
fucking
great
series.
line.
Yes.
Hey, I
Yeah,
can help you.
I don't know what it is. Like, I know a lot of people. This movie has gotten a lot more popular the last decade or so, and I just it still just doesn't click with me.
The world has gotten a lot more gay in the last decade or so.
Oh yeah, I love it.
It's not such a taboo thing to be. Yeah,
I
no,
love it.
That's a good
No,
fucking movie.
Hey,
Now,
that's what
Steak,
makes it
you stop
unique,
it.
honestly. But
Stop
I
it,
just
Steak.
yeah.
Pull your
I mean-
dicks out, boys.
Well, here, Mike brings up a point. I figure it's
I didn't
in
either.
our argument.
The towel
didn't
whipping and
either.
everything. As
Yeah.
a little kid, I just thought that was supposed to be funny.
Just vicious.
I thought it was
yeah.
supposed to be scary. She's like, well, no, he kills you
Hey.
based on your fears. He's a fucking
I just took
he's
it
a
as it's funny. Whipped him to death
douchebag
with a
gym
towel.
T-shirt.
Hey, have y'all ever been whipped by somebody with one of them towels where they go, wow? Have y'all ever been, dude,
ain't
that
no
shit
funny.
hurts like a motherfucker.
No.
Like, that was-
No, what are you doing in your free time, Christian?
Time to hit the showers.
When
Let's
I was
wait.
in school, that was a fight. You fucking did that. You fought.
Right?
No
Dude,
bullshit.
Seriously.
That shit
Junk
hurt.
hanging out everywhere.
It's that Van Damme scene in Maximum Risk. I got Steak just beating the shit out of somebody in the locker room.
I do this shit at malls now, though. I just go around the mall with a fucking towel. Just
Turn around at some guy who's 6'5".
oh, all right. Well, you got me, sir.
It looks like Sam. Is this?
Oh,
God damn it, Chris.
Someone.
What are you doing in your free time?
Yeah,
Someone.
no, they will fuck.
I
you.
gotta go
They can get you.
downstairs.
Run, Chris, run!
He's hitting the neighbor kids with a towel.
That's so unfair. His legs are so much longer. They can cover like a block at a time.
He spilled one kid's guts on the street.
Does anybody here agree with me that Part 2 is, certainly the scariest one?
The
Maybe not your
horniest
favorite
one.
one, but it's
minus one. I still think one's a scary.
I'm with Dan.
Two-
I got to
two is-
lean with Dan on that.
2 is
Three
definitely
is-
scary.
three for me.
I'm
Three's the
with
scariest for
Steak
me.
and Christian.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I won't.
We're not
go
friends
ahead
anymore.
On 3, I love 3, but I don't know. I mean, it's such a weird franchise the way it went from where it started.
and you want to sleep with me.
I think I need to bring something up because it's like, yes, this movie is a lot of gay overtones, a lot about as an allegory for coming out of the closet.
Mhm.
Why does nobody ever talk about Freddy being defeated by the power of heterosexual love?
That's
You
how
know what?
defeat.
That's a
That's how
great-
you defeat
About it.
homosexuality, is it not?
You got.
You just got to find the right woman to love you hard enough.
We're gonna pray the gay out of you, young man.
Push those feelings out.
Just
Oh Lord.
Sam,
Also, though, Sam, I do want to
Great
say
point, Sam.
I want to commend you for saying overtones and not fucking undertones. There's nothing subtle about this.
Right.
yeah, that's true.
Here's a question, and they never touched on this in the Scream Queen documentary. Does anybody ever wonder if maybe David Chaskin himself was battling himself, maybe being gay, and that's him writing the movie about himself? Because he's a little weird looking to me. I thought he might have been a little pretty tooty. God
Well, I
bless him.
thought so too in the original box set documentary, not
Yeah.
Never Sleeps Again,
Yeah.
but
I thought that
the
about
DVD
Jack
box set.
Shoulder.
Because he was like,
Oh,
well, I
Jack
mean,
Shoulder
yeah,
is a
but you're
motherfucker.
here
Jack
to sleep
Shoulder
with me.
was-
Jack Shoulder's like, I didn't really like the first one, so I didn't give a shit.
I had no
about following his
compunction to follow his rules.
storyline. I don't really care about it. It's all right. It's not that big of a deal.
Also, why is everything have to have? Why is there a sheen of like everything's so? There's so much fucking blue in this movie. It's so dark in areas. At least when I watched on VHS, it was like,
Right.
Jack.
I want to be able to see it, but I do love blue tones of the 80s in horror.
Sam, I do want to say thank you for bringing
Being
that
a
up.
friend.
You said it a lot nicer than I was going to. Essentially, I was going to say if this movie is this movie is about as gay as it is pro conversion therapy. So,
USA.
I've never noticed it. This was the other movie that my grandfather was transferring from over to Beta, and this one is the one that stuck with me, not part one.
Betamax. We're talking all this kind of like weird
Betamax.
Sexual counterculture. You have to.
According
be
to you, I'm an old fart, so I'm trying to cut down all the words that I'm using.
My grandpa was converting.
I've only got so much more time here.
Just
Stan.
saying, talking about all this gay stuff and then throwing beta in there. That's sending us down a whole different road.
But anyway, my point here is that part 2 is the one that stuck with me, not part 1. I had nightmares from this movie for weeks afterwards. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. My daughter's laughing.
Oh, those voices are really there. Good.
At our show.
That's not just in your head this time.
Sauce was like, "Is my medicine wearing off right now, or what?"
Oh,
Anyway, my daughter thinks it's funny anytime I say I'm old. So, yeah, thanks, Steak. But anyway, my point was that Christian, you brought up the line that the friend says to him, and you want to sleep with me. People point to that as another reason why this movie's leans towards being gay or whatever else. I always considered it, as a guy, if you feel like you're threatened in any way, shape, or form, you always go to your guy friends for help. You don't go to your girlfriend for help. Your girlfriend's not going to whoop somebody's ass for you. Your guy friends are.
I was gonna say, Sam looks like she's probably beating somebody's ass.
I have not, but I would.
But you're right, Kory. You're totally right. I mean,
Yeah.
thanks, James.
But that's just always been the way I looked at it. Dan said, or I think it was Dan said that he always took the towel whipping as supposed to be funny or whatever.
As a little kid, yeah, it's like, oh,
I
it's
mean,
funny. He's whipping a dude to death
Yeah.
with a towel. It's a gag. I mean, obviously, probably maybe the third time I watched it, I started to realize, like, oh yeah, I get it now. But I don't know, just never quite clicked with me.
But can a movie just be a movie? I mean, can't we just enjoy the movie for what we're seeing on screen as opposed to trying to make it something else?
Oh my god!
But not this one.
Like motherfuckers on YouTube breaking down character development on Ghoulies fucking 2. Are you kidding me? I mean, I ranted about this on my last podcast episode. I'm like, dude, the world is coming to a fucking end. We're breaking down character development and story arcs on Ghoulies 2.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? Obviously this is Elm Street. It's a little bit different animal, but still, dude, the movie is scary. It scared the fuck out of me. This movie is creepy. The music's awesome, and Freddy is great. I don't care who's having sex with who. It doesn't matter.
I think the Ghoulies coming out of
Grady.
I think the Ghoulies coming out of the toilet are a statement on the genocide in Rwanda. Personally,
You're dead. You know what?
So,
yeah, I always took it as more of a trans rights issue. It was way ahead of its time.
way ahead.
Trans rights.
You're gonna have a Babadook situation now, where the Ghoulies. It's gonna get there. You go.
Shouts out Argyle Goolsby, by the way. A live album dropped today. Check it out.
Hey, Christian, I wouldn't worry too much about the state of the world based on stuff like that until they start doing 4-hour documentaries on the Troll franchise.
You guys don't want that?
Could be
Not
coming.
really. No.
I have to go delete some files.
Oh man, that was the next come on in. We're talking horror.
My name is Steak. I love Troll 2. It's amazing.
Sam, Dan, Kory, have any last thoughts on your Elm Street 2 before Orc and Sauce have?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I should say something, nicer about Nightmare 2 because it isn't my favorite. It's kind of, I'd rather watch Dream Child than Nightmare 2 as far as like a ranking goes. And I mean, I know Dream Child's way at the bottom for a lot of reasons. But the boiler room looks very creepy in this iteration. And I do appreciate that. Also, kind of unfair about Kim Meyer not becoming like a huge star because, dude, Meryl Streep clone, 100%. Gorgeous gal.
Yeah.
Better actress.
Yeah, she's
too.
cute. Yeah.
I'll just say I think it's a very ballsy, unique movie at the for that time. I mean, there isn't any sequel to a major horror franchise that went the route that Nightmare 2 did. I wish I liked it more. I don't, but I respect it.
Very nice.
I like that she used the word ballsy.
Yeah, definitely ballsy at that time.
Well, Orc, any thoughts on Nightmare 2? Is this
Here
where
we
it goes
go.
Elm
downhill?
Street 2,
Hey.
It's
Hey, you remember what Heisenberg said? Tread lightly.
And by the way,
That's all I'm
here's another
saying.
one for our good friend Jonathan.
Hey, go
Fuck
yourself.
you!
eighth best.
Go
Even
bang
that's
your
low for
cousin
me.
in Kentucky.
Yeah, you say him go play
yeah.
good in Kentucky. Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
follow
love.
that, but this is
It's love of
whoa.
Kentucky.
ooh, spicy.
Bring it home, Sauce.
Damn right,
All
Griffin.
right, this is I like 3 Nightmare films, and this is number 2 on the list. I like how dark it is, good stuff. I don't really mind the gay undertones, overtones, whatever kind of tones they are.
Of course you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say that out loud. Sorry, go on, Orc.
Yeah, and it's the last one where he's actually scary. So yeah, that's my 2 cents, son.
Well, I'll give you a thumbs up, Orc. You didn't get the middle finger yet. So
Proud of you.
Well, not from you.
Well, we have a long way to go, and I'm getting more pissed off by the second.
there we go.
Oh boy.
Sauce. Nightmare
Yeah,
2.
I can't put it as my 8th favorite horror franchise. That's a little bit too low.
Damn right.
Maybe like 7th.
Lucky 7.
I think you killed Steak Sauce. He's having a stroke.
Steak, come back.
Does it smell like toast?
Always.
You're just having.
It's constant. It's one.
Because he has a toaster constantly going in his studio.
Oh yeah. Nightmare 2 is fantastic. Best movie that's ever been made. Until we talk about the next movie. No. Seriously though, coming up.
Sorry, I have to apologize. Jonathan's cousin is married now.
Oh,
stop that.
God.
Jonathan comes in from left field.
Wait a minute, I just caught Dan's clip. How does she feel about hatted men?
Not men who wear hats, but hatted men.
They've been adorned with one.
Go, Sauce, go.
So yeah, Nightmare 2, I didn't like it like at all growing up. I firmly last place as a kid. It's like just slowly become fucking one of my favorites to watch, and it's still not number 1 on the list. It's very high. I'd probably say it's number 2. I like everything about it. I like the stupid dance scene's fantastic. The gay overtones are fun as an adult to kind of, that's weird. Didn't catch that when I was little. As a kid, the biggest obstacle to me was like the Jessie, the male scream queen. It was so weird, It wasn't done. It's still really not done now. So like in a lot of it's a fucking movie that just like kind of stands the test of time because of these choices that were made, purposefully or not. I really enjoy watching it. It's probably at this point the most watched. Like Nightmare 3 still has it for lifetime views, but in the last probably 10 years, it's Nightmare 2 all the way.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, like you, when I was younger, it started probably low, except for maybe when I first watched it, because I watched them in order. I was young, but yeah, I was there to follow them. I'm old too. But it grew as time has went on. It's probably third place at the moment. They changed because I love them all, but it's third place at the moment. I remember
Are they
seeing,
like your Pokemon?
I hate Pokemon.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Gotta suck
I remember seeing this poster at our mall theater. It was right after we had watched on VHS the original Nightmare, and I think our theaters got these movies like late, because I would have been 5 and this came out in 85, and I would have been 5 at 6 years in 86. So I don't know if it had a re-release or was it late in the year in 85 when it was released, and it didn't carry over till 86 in my theater. But I remember right after seeing this poster in the mall and going, "Oh my god!"
You
Can't
said
wait.
the mall
Yeah.
theater. Okay.
When it only had 2 theaters there in the 1980s.
Well, we had 2 theaters in town, but
No, I mean in the mall had 2
Yeah,
theaters,
that's what I was-
and then the old
okay.
one was downtown.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's all right. Let's not go so local here, huh?
okay, we won't go so local.
Let's keep it broad for the viewers at home.
But I did finally watch it from a tiny little video store, and down the street from me at the time. It didn't last long, but that was what
Oh, I
rented
saw
from.
this one down there at the theater on Pearson Avenue.
It wasn't Pearson. It was on 3rd Street.
Oh, that's right.
No, that you scared CHH off.
At least he's still alive.
But yeah, I loved it, and like you guys said, it is still like it is the true scary slasher of the series, and it's lasted the test of time. It's grown on me. I lost my train of thought.
Quickly, I do want to kind of point out, along with the makeup effects, the just how fucking hot that movie reads. Everything's just dripping and sweating. It, just like
Oh yeah.
obviously there's the scenes where they're trying to portray that, but they do a fucking bang up job in the scenes where that's just kind of in the background. It's like everything's just gross.
Oh yeah. Well, like
It's
Freddy's
just,
like just
wet.
dripping with
Yeah.
Astroglide, and
Hey,
it's fantastic.
Jess,
Well,
you're
he
not
just- he
helping
just-
my
he-
case.
he
That
just-
this movie's not gay.
he just pulled himself out of Jesse.
I forget we're live. Oh, and that's another good thing. I didn't think of the guy as being, gay. I'm a little kid. It was, again, just a horror movie, like you guys were saying. And having the name Jesse, that was terrifying to me.
No, not me.
There is no Jesse. I'm Jesse now.
That's
Nightmares.
an excellent impression.
Nightmare. Thank you. I had a dream. This is one of the many Freddy dreams of the part 2 Freddy. And I'm running in the boiler room, and I go to hide in, like, I don't know, it's not even like a closet, but in the boiler room, there's like this little cupboard thing I can hide. But the opening on the bottom, I can see the feet, and I see Freddy's feet pacing. And then it cuts in my dream. I remember this dream from as a kid, and I don't remember any other
And he's
dreams. now.
fucking you in the mouth.
No, but we were playing Mercy.
Again, fucking you in the mouth. Go on.
We were playing Mercy, I swear.
He was supposed to pinch me if he couldn't breathe.
It's true. Oh my God. Christ.
Great, we lost Jess.
He's just flipping us off with the camera. Like, you turn the camera off so you can fall off right now. I don't blame you.
Steak, don't leave for work tonight, please.
Oh, and I guess
No,
I got a
don't do
note.
this.
I know. I wish he didn't have to go.
Work, unfortunately.
I missed a note, so I guess I do kind of agree with Sauce and CHH. I have a little note here that I wrote up yesterday. Maybe even scared me more than the first film.
I
So
was just say, always agree with those two.
Hey, you said we couldn't be friends because I said that.
oh, you did? We're
Yes.
friends again.
Okay.
Any final thoughts before we go on to the greatest sequel of them all?
How did you agree on that? I'm sorry, like, we kind of derailed that story.
How did what? Well, one.
Your dream.
Your dream.
Mike is crackling. Is that? No.
It might have been Christian, I think.
Son of a bitch, Christian.
What were you asking, Sam?
How did your dream end?
It basically ended with me playing Mercy. I mean, these movies kind of also taught me to fight my nightmares. So while I was terrified, it was like, let's just get it over with. A lot of times in dreams, like if something was chasing me, I just tell myself, okay, you're dreaming, so get killed so you wake up. I know that sounds weird, but I really did that as a kid. You know, I've been...
Great
I'd wake up,
advice.
I'd get axed in the back as a little kid, and I'd wake up like this.
It's
True
fine.
story.
Just kill yourself. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. You'll wake up. I
But
promise.
I think I won in Mercy against Freddy, against his claw, and all of a sudden I woke up at that point, as far as I can remember. I mean, we're talking 35 years ago almost. So.
Yeah.
You got some crackle mic there, Mr. Hannah Horner.
Crackling asshole bitch.
I'll fix it.
Okay, it's
Get
okay.
you with them
We love you.
wars.
All right, so any objections?
I think I have an objection.
It's a Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors.
Let me hit
Is that
this
better?
one first.
Okay.
Yeah,
that
that's
sounds
better.
great.
Okay, cool.
Does it sound great?
It's coming back a little bit. It's
All right,
softer though.
I got it.
Don't leave us though.
Corey, how big is that bottle of Mountain Dew?
Huh?
It's
How big
is
1.5
that bottle?
liters.
Shona McManus. He's in the house.
1.25
It's
liters.
amazing.
The Hidden's such a good
I,
movie.
I told you it was
Yeah.
1.5 liters.
Yeah.
Cool.
Never
I'll
got
try
it.
many of
man.
those at my
25
day.
steak.
What'd you say to me?
1 1/4.
What?
Thank
One
you,
and a
Chris.
quarter, not
What
one
the
and a
fuck
half.
is wrong with you people?
Mr. CZ.
I have so many. Like, I'm finding out so many new things about my husband tonight.
I don't
Hello.
mean you people.
Chris,
I mean the
that's just
people that run
scary.
your store.
And does Mrs. Channel know about that?
Mrs. Who?
Yeah, actually, she does know
Mrs.
about
Channel.
Chris and I, and now we have a new Chris to play with. I thought
Yeah,
we were just
Boo
going to
is
move
right,
on
Jamie.
from this
Boo
really
is right.
fast. Oh, yeah, we're making fun with you, Mr. Sean. We love you dearly. Don't cry.
Scene McManus.
Well, I'm not making fun with you. I'm making fun of you. I fucking hate you. I don't ever want to see you on these parts again.
I want you on my show.
Got fucking real.
Jess is just gonna leave those
For
unhappy
fuck's
faces.
sake.
Crackling asshole bitch. Oh, are you quoting? Did you say that?
I think
Sauce?
Steak said
I
that.
think I
was
might have
sauce.
said that.
Sounds like sauce.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
So I got 13-minute warning now.
Okay, well, since
think
we're starting up Nightmare 3, why don't you start there and basically give your thoughts on the rest of the series?
So Nightmare on Elm Street 3, until I saw Return of the Living Dead, was my favorite movie. Any genre, any year, fucking doesn't matter. It beat everything. I've seen it so many times, it's disgusting. It's probably not safe. I love every fucking character in it. Nancy is so much better here than in any other movie. The original, any of the sequel, or the New Nightmare, doesn't matter. This is peak Freddy as far as I'm concerned. He's not quite as scary as 2, but for people to say that he's not scary in the sequels, even when they mean 3 and 4 and then 5. Christian and I talked about this with Nick on You Need a Podcast. Homie's still scary. Homie's still got that fucking hate in his heart. Sure, is he cracking jokes too? Sure, of course he is. But there's still fucking malice, and it's not just getting off on this. This is fun. I need to kill you. I hate your fucking parents. And you see a lot of this. This is the first one where you start to see a lot of the ingenuity, I guess, with kind of taking the dreamscape and going, oh, fuck, we could do pretty much anything we want. And doing it well. I mean, this is the best looking of the series as far as I'm concerned. Number 3. Biggest budget to date, I think. I mean, going chronologically, obviously not the biggest budget of the franchise, but, and it was used well. Patricia Arquette's terrific. I know she had a hard time on set or whatever. She's great. I mean, fucking Roland Kincaid, Ken Sagos, one of the best fucking characters.
Best character.
I should have worn my fucking Kincaid shirt, and I'm a little upset now that I didn't think of it. He's one of the best characters in horror cinema, period. I don't give a fuck. I'll fight anyone on that any day of the week.
I think I agree.
I just love this fucking movie.
Excellent.
It's just so much fun. This is and it's a movie that, you know, maybe I'm not the most positive guy on the planet, but this is a movie that I cannot find fault with. I can't go, I don't like that. Everything fucking fits. Everything seems like it's in place, and I love it.
Well, it's going to be hard not to. I mean, if you have a quick comment on what Steak is saying while he's saying it, because it's going to be hard for us probably not to chime in as you go through.
Yeah,
but
let's go.
He does have to get going,
Yeah,
and we will be going back to our full Nightmare 3 thoughts. But Nightmare 4, The Dream Master.
Tell me I'm a nice boy.
You're a
Nightmare
nice boy.
4. Nightmare 4 was like numbered, you know, because it was like 3 and 4. You watch those in 5, you just kind of forget about it as a kid. You just, I'm gonna go play with toys halfway through 5. You know, 4 to me it holds up just as well visually. Like it's very like I don't know
Visually.
What was it? Kruger Robert Englund that said it's kind of like the MTV Nightmare.
I think he was the one to
That's-
originally quote that.
That's very fucking spot on from anything that I've
Yeah.
seen, like fucking those late, you know, mid to late 80s VJ fucking. Hey, all right, here we go. Man, I feel like I just fucking hit the biggest line I've hit in 3 years, but I've hit no lines.
Wait till the reunion.
Yeah. Lost my train of thought, but 4 brings us, in my opinion, the best scream queen of any slasher movie by Alice Johnson. You know, she's fantastic. She gets better. She is like one of the lone bright points of 5, but she's terrific here. It's another great cast. I don't like Tuesday Night as much as Patricia Arquette, but I don't know that anybody does. You know, I mean, she does fine. It's like coming into a role like where you're like, if they had to recast Joey, I don't think it would have been as big of a deal. You know, I don't know if you want to chime in on that, how you feel about that, but like take Kristen and go, yeah, no, it's just a different girl now. I don't know.
Honestly, as a kid, I'm not even sure I noticed completely, or either thought she was a different character somehow.
Do you have facial blindness?
Sometimes I do.
Really?
I like Tuesday, and I remember the girl from Nightmare 4. I think her name's Ellie. Halloween 4. Her name's like Ellie something in real life. She talked about she
Ellie,
auditioned for it. Thank God they didn't use her because she is just a no personality, nothing, and that would have been a nightmare. No pun intended. She's fine in Halloween 4 because she's the clean
just
cut.
a dream.
You know?
She couldn't have that energy.
It's kind of, to me, it's a little bit bullshit that people hate on Tuesday night. She is first of all, she's such a great singer. I love her record she put out. I listen to it all the time. It's such great 80s pop
whole thing?
stuff.
Mhm.
The whole thing.
Really?
Oh, dude, there's a song on that record that she has. I forget the name of it. So good. There's so many good songs in that. But dude, that Running from This Nightmare, that's her. Like
Yeah.
she came in with that song and she's so lovely.
That's awesome.
I mean, she brought a different element to that film and that song is so good. And I don't want me to cut Sauce off, but like I just gotta say, nothing touches the soundtrack for Dream Master. Nothing. Divinyl, Sea Hags, Go West, Vinnie Vincent Invasion,
Dramarama.
Billy Idol.
literally,
Dramarama. Fucking
literally
love Dramarama.
nothing. No movie has a soundtrack.
No.
That vinyl gets spun at the house so much, and I can't pick a favorite track. If I had to, it's either Don't Be Afraid of Your Dreams. Or maybe the Divinyls, Back Against the Wall. Dude, that record from Chrysalis is undeniable, absolutely undeniable. That's why Dream Master is so fucking good. It's not just a movie; it's the soundtrack. It's
the same thing. It's the same thing with Return of the Living Dead. Like it's the soundtrack as much as it is, you know, what you're seeing on screen and the acting and all that shit. But yeah, I can't fucking agree any more with what Christian said about the soundtrack. It's fantastic. Yeah, shout out to Fat Boys too. Every bit as talented as fucking Run DMC, and I won't hear fucking anything else about it.
right.
My question is, Steak, did you say Bananarama?
Dramarama.
Oh,
not Bananarama.
Not Bananarama.
Is it Cinema Verite? I believe is the album that's on. It's not a bad little album either.
Yeah.
Some couple of Jersey boys just getting together to make an album. You know what they say? Yeah.
And not that this really matters, but again, I just when you look at the box office at this time, Freddie was hand over fist whipping Michael and Jason's ass, just whipping both of their asses.
2-on-1.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Wasn't even close.
Agree.
You know, that just shows you that in that time period, everybody wanted Freddie. I mean, everybody was into Freddie. I just think that's so cool. You know.
The Fat Boys
He's
asked,
a
"Are
big
you ready
part of
for
pop
Freddie?"
culture. Yeah,
And the nation
even
at
more
large
so
said,
than any other icon.
"Yes."
Yeah.
So part 5, mixed
Number
bag.
5.
The best way to watch that, if you can track it down, I believe there's, you can sail the old high seas and find it. There's a VHS copy that is unrated or uncut or whatever the fuck. It's only like what, Christian, like 3-4 minutes more footage, but you see more of all the deaths, like all the shit they had to cut out to get it fucking an R rating.
Right.
You know, there's just like different parts, like fucking like the exhaust like stabbing into Dan's fucking calf, which
Yeah.
just is kind of gross. Like you actually see the fucking the impact, I guess, of that rather than it being implied.
Right.
I think
Greta.
everything's just Greta's just a lot bloodier. Like you see more of that fucking that gore and viscera, which is always nice. Not a great movie. It's a great concept, I think. It's just kind of rushed. Like this came out, I think, less than a year. It was like fucking written, filmed, edited, and released inside of a year of 4 coming out. Like it was just disgusting. They were changing shit every day. So there's just a lot of problems with it. It's fine. It's still watchable. My sister, this is the only one she would watch as a kid because it had a baby in it. So I still kind of hate that and her, for, having to watch it so many times. But yeah, this was always like kind of watch about half of it. It gets kind of boring after Mark dies, and it's like, okay, I get it.
I agree.
It's kind of a shitty conclusion for, as I said, like one of the better, to me, like the greatest fucking scream queen in a slasher. It's, it just kind of ends. It's lame.
Okay.
But it is better than Freddy's Dead.
Ooh.
But like this much better. It's
yeah.
I got it really quick. Can I just defend again the soundtrack for The Dream Child, Mammoth, Bruce Dickinson, Wasp? None of the shit's really in the movie. You could barely hear one of the songs in the pool. I think it's the God damn it. What's that song that plays in the pool scene? My point is, like, the soundtrack is really good. Mammoth is this really cool late 80s hair band, and they're all really fat guys, like big. And that song Can't Take the Hurt is so good. But the soundtrack is great, but it's not really all in the movie either. But again, one of my favorite records. I mean, that soundtrack is so cool. So,
what Wasp song is on there?
Savage. It's a song called Savage.
Cunt stabbing everyone.
Dude, I love Wasp. Off topic, but like they did some of the greatest concept records ever. I'm sure Kory knows. Like the one from '88. Is it the Headless Child? Is the name of that record? Dude. That one and then one
Headless Children.
Dude, yeah, Headless Children.
Now we're
they
talking.
Are so fucking good. But Wasp is like they get lumped into like the Motley Crues and stuff like that. But Wasp was the real deal, man. I love Blackie Lawless. So that's good shit.
Why is Motley Crue not the real deal? Why do you have to be rude?
You know what, dude? Like honestly, I like Mick Mars is good.
My heart.
I don't like Motley Crue. I saw them with Alice Cooper, and they were so fucking awful. Like they wouldn't put Neil's
I'm not talking live. Yeah, fucking Vince Neil could never sing.
They wouldn't put his vocals over the mix of the band because, like, you saw those funny videos. This was 2014 too. I gotta have something to sing. Like that's what he sounds like now.
Yeah. You saw him on the farewell tour.
I did.
Yeah, it was a tour before
that, Alice's band is so good. Alice is my favorite.
Alice Cooper's a fucking badass live show. Every
so
time
good.
I've seen, I saw him by himself. I've seen him with Rob Zombie, and I've seen him one other time. I forget who it was with though, and he was the best.
He's top
Millie
notch,
Wall
man.
K.
He's
Well,
just
don't
top
forget
notch.
Alice Cooper was also in part 6. So
That's right.
So anyway, to get back to Freddy's Dead, it's
Nice.
fine.
Sure. Fat Boys.
Fuck yeah, dude.
We should do a watch along with that. Ghost
Um,
suggested.
You know,
Anyway.
I like this is one I liked a lot as a kid. Freddy's Dead. It's wacky. It's out there. There's still some things that the chalkboard gag with Carlos, he's just kind of like fucking humping along. That just made me fucking die. I had tears several times just seeing that, showing friends that. It's like, he's just look, he's fucking the chalkboard. It's hilarious.
Right.
It's fine. Just the only time we get to bring up Breck and Meyer, I'm going to shout out Road Trip. That's one of the best fucking comedies of the 2000s, in my opinion.
Oh, Road Trip's so funny.
Funny.
What about Rat Race? Have you seen Rat Race?
I have seen
Remember that
Rat
movie?
Race. Yeah,
Good
I
one.
like that movie a lot too.
that's a hell of a cast, dude.
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, like it's fine. Like I like Rachel Talalay. It's just not my wheelhouse, I guess. That kind of campiness, as an adult. It's fine as a kid. I don't hate it. It's definitely I picked that over fucking a million other things, but
Yes.
A New Nightmare. Again, that was another one. It's fine. We'll watch it. Great. And then for a while, like as a 15, 16-year-old, now that's a superior film. It's gritty and real. Shut up, you fucking loser. And now I'm just fucking sick of hearing about it because it's not really that good. It's better than 5 and 6, and that's about it.
Okay.
Okay. But it's just like there's a lot of people that goes, no, I like 1 and I like New Nightmare, and that's it.
Hey, Sauce, didn't me and you talk about like our favorite parts of New Nightmares really at the talk show where Robert is Freddy?
Yeah,
and it's just like that's my Freddy. That's my Freddy.
I don't like this fucking weird German techno
Freddy.
Fucking.
I agree. I think the makeup.
It's like part 2 Freddy come to life. His tight leather pants. Beat it.
No.
And then Wes Craven's shit-eating grin when he's doing his lines in the movie.
Yo,
he can't stop
so
fucking
bad.
smiling.
And
Oh,
I
come
feel
on,
like-
Heather. Kids love horror.
And so I feel like when we see Robert Shea do his lines in that scene, he's like 3 or 4 days into the coke binge that he finishes shortly after all of the DVD extras from the box set. If you watch any of his interviews in that box set, dude has been up a while.
Dude, no lie, like I would kill to do coke with Bob Shea.
Fuck yeah, dude. Go in a second.
Absolutely, like right at the top of my
I'd do
bucket
coke with my neighbor. I don't care. It's been kidding.
That's funny.
So all that's left is the remake, and
no,
I like the end of it.
Freddy versus Jason. Steak? Has he frozen?
He left.
not even an Irish
Wow.
Yeah,
pasta?
he's like, nah, fuck this.
Ladies and
Too
gentlemen,
good.
off the
No
grill
words
steak
can
sauce.
describe it.
Yeah. You can find his link below. So I think he's gone for good. That sounded bad. But let's get back to Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is the best D&D campaign ever. There's some truth to that for sure.
Yeah, actually, me and Mr. Sam saw that in theaters at an Alamo Draft House like a couple years back.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, it was amazing. But like this viewing also cemented the fact that Kincaid is like steals the show. He has all the best lines. Crowd pops for every single one of them. Even even something that doesn't get a laugh. It's oh man. It was just a beautiful movie to see on the screen too.
I bet.
Brutal
Griffin.
kills too.
Bill Maher was great in Dream Warriors. Of course, everybody thought Chris Wasson?
Craig was.
Craig Wasson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was Bill Maher for a short period of time there too.
I kind of want Bill Maher in it now. That would be pretty cool.
I just want to like have a chance to run into Bill Maher and tell him he was great in Dream Warriors.
Oh,
I'll put that on the bucket list too.
I wonder how many if he does get that ever.
Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death.
Oh my god.
What the fuck kind of movie name is that?
That's that movie Bill Maher was in.
Yeah, he starred in it.
The Avocado Jungle. What the fuck is an avocado jungle?
A jungle of avocados.
What the hell?
Hey, Chris, does that remind you of Chris in the chat overhold? Does that remind you of Guacamole Cooch? Oh, we'll talk later. Heather's acting definitely
If you
improved.
leave it
in
out
this
too
one.
long, it turns brown.
So Jess, let me just say this. Obviously, what do I need to say about Dream Warriors that not everybody probably feels? What's interesting is on my Laserdisc, they don't play the song Into the Fire when Kristen plays the radio. They play a different song. And I swear to God, I've watched a TV version with another song. Does anybody know the songs? I could be wrong. So I obviously my DVDs and stuff plays Into the Fire, which was my true introduction to Dokken. And I since became a big fan of classic Dokken, especially the 1990 Don Dokken record. That's so good. But does anybody know the song besides Into the Fire that plays? Because it's been a while. I haven't watched my Laserdisc in some time, but it's a different song. They don't play
it a Dokken
Dokken.
song still though?
No, it was not Dokken. It was almost like a new wave kind of thing.
That had to have
God,
been added later for that release, maybe something with rights, because I thought Dokken was always a big part of Nightmare 3.
Does anybody ever remember, Dan, maybe hearing a version that had a different song? Because I swear to God, it's not a Dokken song that plays in this version.
I do kind of vaguely remember what you're talking about, and it's been a while. I couldn't tell you the song or anything, but I think that does exist.
I'll have to put on my Laserdisc again and listen to it, because I remember when I got it, I was like, it caught me off guard watching. I was like, that's not, wait a minute. It wasn't a band I can tell you off the top of my head, but I'm going to have to pop it in again to see, because that was really cool to me that it's not a Dokken song in there. So,
okay.
But
I'm curious about that now. Yeah. So when you figure that out,
at the beginning,
when Kristen plays the radio, when she's building her, her house thing, when she plays her cassette deal. Well, there's different versions of the movie that have a different song playing right there. And one of them was like an instrumental thing, and the other one was just a different song. And I got to pop on my Laserdisc again and see what it was, because I just remember I was like, wait a minute, because Into the Fire, I think, is the majority of the way people see it. I'm sure that's on the Blu-ray and the DVDs and stuff. I'm going to have to pop it on again, but that's the only thing that really comes to mind. Everybody's already said it. Kincaid's great and all that. I love it. I do think you can still see the string a little bit when he picks up the Harry Potter kid in the dream sequence Wizard Master thing. You can kind of see the string, the Mary Poppins strings on him. But
now on all the versions, or just the most recent Blu-ray and 4K?
Probably the Blu-ray. I'm sure on the other stuff, the picture quality doesn't render that well enough to where you could see it very well. But he's cool. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind the Harry Potter kid getting killed. I could take or leave him. I like Larry Fishburne in this movie, man, as the nurse.
Oh, hell yeah.
Larry.
I
call him Larry Fishburne.
Am I the only one who thinks that probably the biggest thing that we didn't get that I kind of wish we would have was the scene with Lawrence Fishburne and Freddy Krueger?
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess what was the reason he didn't? Was he just like
off duty?
He was too cool for school. He wasn't worried about dreaming or worried about other people, like this Freddy shit. He wasn't concerned. Or was it because he was an adult kind of thing?
I guess. Yeah, probably more that he's an adult, not part of the teenagers of the parents that killed Freddy. With the parents that killed Freddy.
Yeah.
Well, Dan.
Well, I was just going to say 3, I think, is an excellent film. I love 3. I get the love. I know a lot of people put it above 1, but still not for me. But 3 is the second best for sure for me.
Excellent.
I think Orc likes this one.
Is this your third one that you like?
Yep, this is the third and last for the most part. Well, actually, no. There's one more. There's one more. Maybe 2 to piss people off as well. We'll see.
Okay.
But yeah, I like this one. It's my third favorite. This one is the start of where he talks too fucking much, and he never shuts the fuck up. Which is why I like the first 2 so much. But it is a really solid movie. I'd give it like 7 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't
Well, I
kill
gotta say-
anybody with the Q-tip yet, so you know.
No, but that's fantastic too, which we of course will get to. I mean, you guys say most, you bring up pretty much says it all, especially us fans. So mine's more on experience. I remember the poster. Here's one in my sister's room at the time when it first came out, and it terrified me. I was home alone after school or something just for a short period of time, and I remember getting so scared of the poster that I had to run out into the outside until somebody got home.
Yeah.
It's still scary, Freddy. Yes, there's some comedic moments, but again, like you or Saw said earlier, there is still horror in this film, and it is still scary, Freddy, at times. Yeah, I'm sure I watched it as soon as it came out on VHS. I was a pretty hardcore fan by the time Part 3 came out. Was it 87, 88? No, it was 87.
Mm-hmm.
6 years old. 87.
So
Yeah, Ultimate Freddy fan, Dream Warriors. It is definitely my second favorite in the franchise, and sometimes ranks close to being tied with the first one.
mm-hmm.
And titties.
And titties.
Titties.
We didn't even mention Jennifer Rubin. I like Jennifer
Oh,
Rubin.
she aged
great.
pretty well too. Not to
Yeah.
totally, but I think good looking gal.
Has everybody seen Jennifer Rubin's nightmare movie, Bad Dreams?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it yet. I hate it. I mean, I hate myself for not seeing it. Excuse me.
Oh, Sam,
Well,
see it.
It's
I know.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's not exactly a pop movie, and like you don't see a lot of people saying, "Hey, check this movie out." I just bought it because it was a Scream Factory release that came out, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell?" And then I was like, "This is a nightmare movie in more ways than one."
Richard Lynch is so good. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I love Bad Dreams. I don't know what happened with that one. That's another like one of the better horror movies of the period that people just didn't see.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 has such a good balance, though, of Freddy still being scary, but he's also cracking jokes, and it's just enough, and then it just keeps getting more Bugs Bunny-ish later. I mean,
Yeah.
Freddy's Dead is very much guilty of that. Although I still love it. That was the first one I saw, but we'll get there.
No, yeah, that's a great point. It is the perfect mix with Part 3, and then they do go a little too far off the charts. But Chris, Dr. CZ Death makes a good point. Or for you, Christian, sorry, doesn't make a good point. I think he's found the song.
Quiet Cool.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Nice.
I remember liking
And
the song.
titties.
I know. Okay, so we need to talk about the fact that shot of the gal that plays the nurse in the Freddy makeup was not included in the movie, but we all saw the still. Did that fuck anybody up sexually?
A little bit.
Okay.
I try not to think about that. You just reminded me, but yeah, it does
Also,
mess
it's
up some
like-
childhood memories.
See, I just remember the fact that it's like, okay, so her boobs, they look real because they drooping. They're not staying up when she's bending over. I think that's a nice touch.
I enjoyed them.
I mean, we all did. We all enjoyed them.
Nice, Sam.
When Freddy's not fucking you in the mouth, you dream of those.
Well, of course. Okay.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm just not.
Before we move on, Kory, anybody last thoughts?
Something I forgot to bring out that I wanted to. If no one has read this, I'm not much of a book guy, but I went ahead and bought it and read it. I've actually read it twice. Robert Englund's biography. If you haven't read it, check it out. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
Cool. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, great Hollywood stories in there.
Yeah. Talks about essentially he I think he takes credit for Mark Hamill getting the role of Luke Skywalker. So
Yeah.
And I think
Bombed
Mark
it.
Hamill said no. He later
Bombed his
repeated that.
Did he?
audition.
They were roommates, though, right? Or something
that's
like
what he
Yeah.
says in the book. He Hamill was crashing on his couch. So
I would have taken Robert Englund in that role. I think that would have been cooler.
that would be interesting.
Yeah.
as far as Dream Warriors, what's not to like about the movie? I mean, it's a great movie. I do have a tendency to overwatch it sometimes, so I get burned out on it pretty quick. But it's definitely one of the better Nightmare movies. I mean, but to me, all the Nightmare movies are pretty close to each other. So I really don't think I hate any of them. So
Oh, totally agree. If I haven't said that yet, there's in the original series, not a Nightmare on Elm Street I don't love. So
Hate would be a strong word, but
I think you're right. Not hate, but I don't think there's a Nightmare movie I don't like. So
I'm not supposed to use hate, but there is one in the franchise that I do hate, and we'll get to it anyway.
I adore this movie from beginning to end. And
Amen.
yeah, and I really think 3, 4, and 5 are just a really solid, mid-franchise trilogy. And, because we start off with finding out it's like, oh, okay, so now we have people who can control their dreams and they have different abilities. And Kristen Hers was being able to pull people into her dreams. And then when she passes that along to Alice, it changes a little bit. So it's like Freddy's just using that as a backdoor. And yes, you can make all the jokes. It's all good. He's using it as a backdoor to get to the other kids in Springwood. And she has to learn how to control that. I'm sorry, I know.
Yeah.
We're still laughing about the backdoor joke. But I like how that works. And then I like how her power gets used again in Dream Child, where Freddy's using her unborn baby's dreams to get to the kids.
Right.
So there's a nice little consistency there. And I think Lisa Wilcox, right after Heather Langenkamp, she's my favorite final girl of any of the Freddy movies. Because I think a lot of us can pretty much relate to being like the nerdy kid that probably daydreamed too much in school, right? You come up with all of these ideas like, I would have said that in this conversation instead of just not saying anything.
Yeah. Well, you agree a lot with like Sauce's alignment of her. He thinks she's one of the best final girls ever.
That's true. 100% agree.
Slightly going back to Dream Wars, but it aligns with your this is a good trilogy with 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
You get introduced to Freddy's mother in the third one, Sean.
Yeah.
So I have again, this is kind of the only complaint that I have with Dream Master. It's got a kind of, it's kind of like, hey, we defeated Freddy with the power of love in 2. We're just going to defeat him with his reflection in this one.
That was kind of weak. No, you make a good point there that I didn't have in my notes. That is a very weak ending in a lot of ways, and I remember that as a kid thinking, well, that's not going to keep him long, obviously.
But
I'd be
dead long.
I don't know that I like any of the. I'm not really in love with any of the endings of these movies, but my philosophy has always been, fuck you. It's just the ending.
Yeah.
Like if you enjoy the ride, but like when I really think about it, even part 1's ending, all of a sudden it's just like you got to, and they still use that till this day. Look at It Chapter 2. This motherfucker has terrorized these people forever, and now they're just like, just say you're not afraid of them. That's all you have to do. Imagine if that's how like life worked, and I could stop being afraid of bills and taxes and cancer, and like just don't be afraid of it. It won't happen to you. It won't bother you. So quite frankly, like
I thought he was going to say stand up to some bully and go, yeah, I'm not afraid of you, and then get punched in the face and knocked out.
No, maybe when I was a kid, but now that you're an adult, your fears are a lot more boring.
They are. It's true.
It's more so removing your reaction to the fear and neutralizing it.
Yeah.
But Oh crap! I was going to mention about It Chapter 2. That movie disappointed me on a lot of levels, but it's sort of like the end. The losers are like, we're just going to become bullies now and beat the shit out of this clown. Like that's
Yeah.
it. Okay. Okay. All right. Sure.
Yeah. To piggyback on Sam, the thing about Alice I love so much, like I'm not taking anything away from like people that love like Nev Campbell and Scream and stuff. I don't, and from my perception, they love her because she just doesn't die, and she's the quintessential Scream queen because she keeps lasting. That's because they don't write her off to get killed in movies. What are you talking about? Something about Alice, like it's not necessarily her lines that she has or her performance. Like she just looks so sweet and nice, and like I naturally just like this girl from the first moment I see her. I love her
She's
I like her more than
believable as
Heather.
that quiet, sweet, kind of
She's
cute.
so sweet and kind,
pretty
and I
girl.
love her. I love her blonde hair in part 5. I thought she
Oh
was so
my
cute
god,
as
it's
the
super
blonde.
hot. No lie.
Oh my
blonde is
god!
excellent.
So she's just beautiful. And she's the kind of girl. When I see her in those movies, I'm like, I want to bring her home to mom. Like I want to marry Alice. She is just lovely. So I love Alice so much. I mean, that's why I love 4 and 5 too. Is a big time for her. So she just seems like such a lovely woman too. So she's awesome. I love her funny brother, the karate brother. You know,
I do like him too.
no muscle tone at all, but he's Mr. Karate. He's just a skinny kid, and
Badass in school a bit.
dude, I call this
And he's
movie the
tiny, he's like
Daydream Master
5'4".
because this movie's barely at night. Everybody's falling asleep in school, and so I call it the Daydream Master. And I used to say it as a crutch, but now I like it. It's like it's got its own personality now. I love part 4 so much, and it's one of my favorite posters too. Which I don't know if we're going to talk about that. Like the posters for these movies,
Yeah.
it's like
Beautiful.
2, 3, 4, and my VHS like video rental store for 5. I love
Great
it so
point.
much, but I love these posters. The only thing I would have done, I would have ditched the eyeballs. Like if that's supposed to be Alice's eyes, I would have ditched them and not had them there. But other than that, I love how the words are all between the cuts in the ground and stuff. You know, they look so. I mean, Jess, you know what's on my back wall, my horror. I'm like, it's so beautiful seeing these posters all together like that.
Gorgeous.
You know, 4 keeps going up and up and up on my list. It's just like it moves so. And I love the scene of Robert Englund dressed as a woman as that nurse. So gross looking.
I want to draw some blood.
Dude,
some of the
I
best
love 4.
effects work in 4 for sure.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Undeniable. And then Linnea Quigley titties at the end.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
This movie's so
She's
fucking
in the-
awesome, dude. I can't fathom anybody calling it boring. I mean, every fucking scene is so cool. And then Joe Lamont's Pride and Joy song that plays in the diner. I used to try to find the song all the time on YouTube. And then 2 years ago, there's a YouTube channel. I forgot the name of the channel, but if you type in Joe Lamont Pride and Joy, somebody actually got the actual master tape from Joe Lamont, and he says you can have it. Just put it out. And so finally the song, it's available on YouTube now. Finally, the full version of the song is available on YouTube from the original master recordings. And that's really cool. And it's a shame that that's not on the soundtracks. It's not on the vinyl. It's not on the soundtracks at all. And that's just really a shame. Joe Lamont did so many cool songs in the 80s. He did Flesh to Flesh for Return of the Living Dead 2. That's the only way you can get that song is on the record. Obviously, it's on YouTube, but Joe Lamont is one of my favorite. And his record, I forget the name of the album, but I have it too. That album is so good. And then he just disappeared. He stopped doing music. So just a bummer, but he's done so many kick-ass songs. I love Joe Lamont. Yeah.
Freddie actually has a couple of very underrated lines, since we all like the quips, but there are a couple of lines in 4 that are very subtle. Like when he says, tells Kincaid, "You shouldn't have buried me. I'm not dead." Ooh,
yes.
I love that line. And then also the fight scene with Alice and Freddie. It's awesome fight scene. And then they've already set up a little bit about the idea of there are 2 gates in the dream world, right? Dreams and nightmares, all that good stuff, right?
Mhm.
And Freddie comes up to Alice and, he goes, "I've been guarding my gate for a long time, bitch." And this was before we got the weird, scary Terry trope, which I'm going to hypothesize that started in 5. 5, he's throwing bitch around left and right. 4, and even in 3, when he writes "come get him, bitch" on Joey's chest to Nancy, he's not calling everybody a bitch. You save those for special occasions. And of course, like
Right.
the usage of the of bitch was like all over the place in Freddy versus Jason. But I really think that started in 5.
5, yeah, I think even more so.
Yeah.
Overuses
Yeah.
it. And Grim. Those are some cool kills. For sure.
Best
Yeah,
kill
I
in
mean,
Roach Motel.
there's things you can criticize, but certainly not the effects. I mean, this movie's beautiful, and I love Tuesday Night. I don't know who if anybody's met her in person, but I think she's really nice, really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed her in this movie. I mean, really, all of the lead actresses in this franchise are more than solid. I know Langenkamp maybe not the greatest actress, but I think pretty solid. Finally,
I love Heather
sure.
as far as her role in that.
I enjoyed seeing her. I mean, she really only has a few minutes of screen time, but in the last Hellraiser movie, dropping
That was
the F-bomb and
that was so weird.
I wanted more of her. That was hilarious.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm happy anytime Heather Langenkamp shows up because it's like, yeah, bitch got paid. Fucking A, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have something that's kind of like, it's a little off the deep end, so bear with me.
Okay.
But kind of like why I like this trilogy, this mid-franchise trilogy so much is the different concepts of having powers in your dreams and how dreams can interact with each other. So, like Nightmare on Elm Street is pretty much indirectly related to the fact that I ended up like reading into Carl Jung later on in my life and just getting into a lot of like crazy shit. Like, for example, the idea of being able to like see your dreams, record dreams. I mean, technically we can almost do that, but you just really can't see them as what we're used to as visuals. So, Christian, do you know anything about like simoscopes?
I don't think so.
Okay. So like you'll take some sort of physical medium, like take sand and vibrate, and move vibrations up through like a metal plate, right? And the sand will take the shape of different frequencies.
Okay.
So you can also do that with your brain waves. And there are a couple of products on the market where you can record your brain waves while you're sleeping. So technically, you should be able to run those through a simoscope and see what patterns that your dreams are making. And Nightmare on Elm Street is responsible for all this shit for me.
Really?
Yeah. I've never tried it myself, but
I have these vivid ass nightmares that I can't describe when I wake up sometimes, but every now and again I'll have those that I'm so worked up, my heart's beating through my chest, and I'm so thankful to wake up and realize it was a dream. I don't know if you guys ever get that. It's like these high frequency anxiety. I can't describe what it is, but it's when I wake up, it's, oh man, my heart's beating through my chest. It'll happen once every 2 or 3 months, but they are deadly, man. I wake up and I'm just da-doom, 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 and I don't know what I can't describe it.
No, I get you.
It's like a watercolor painting dream where it's just I don't know what happened, but oh my god, I hate them so much.
I had more of those as a kid, and I think as we're adults, we have less of those, or we remember less of those type of dreams, to where we just wake up in a panic, or we still believe it's real, even though we're adults and we know it's not.
I sleep talk though. My wife records me sometimes, and it scares her every now and again because I'll say some just weird stuff. And like Sydney said maybe about a week ago, and I say she records them. She has on her notepad thing on her phone. She writes it down. She said the last thing I said was like maybe a week or so ago. She said I woke up about 2 or 3 and I just sat up and I said, "Go let them in." And she was like, she said it scared her. She was like, "What the fuck?" And she said, I sat up. I just said, "Hey, go let them in." And then I went my head back down and went back to sleep. And she wrote it down and she described it to me. She goes, it really creeped me out for a minute.
That would
creep me out,
yeah, dude.
Because I was like, what happened? She told me, she goes, "You said go let him in." I said, "Did I look at you?" She says, "You looked right at me, and then you went right back down slowly, and then you pulled the covers back over and you turned to your side." And I would be freaked out if I could see this, because obviously I have no memory of it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I don't
better
snore.
Better
but
than
maybe-
Jess's wife, fuck me in the mouth, Freddy, and then he goes back.
Okay.
Looks her right in the eyes too.
You know.
Well, on that note,
Hey,
Yeah, that's
Jess.
basically what Ben Grimm's saying. Yeah, and come true. You know, that's basically what they're doing. They're using, I'm guessing, a cinescope to show the dreams on screen, except they actually take the form of images, at parts of the movie. But yeah, man, come true. That scratched the itch of every weird dream theory thing I needed, because it was that movie was split up into several parts, and they were all based on Carl Jung's archetypes. And I was like, it's my favorite movie ever. Everything I ever wanted.
So it's a great movie. I hope more people see that one.
Yeah.
Jess, I really don't want to have to go, but I really have to get going. See, my wife is ripping carpet up all throughout this house right now, and she is texting the fuck. My Mac computer, she's texting the fuck out of me right now.
Can you give a quick run through, or at least a rating of the
rest of them?
5, 6.
Just let me show this. Let me show you this. So obviously, I love 5, and this is my prized possession, my baby Freddy. I spent a lot of money on this, but it's made by David Miller himself, right? So this is my prized possession. I adore this thing.
Awesome. I love that. And any of you out there, if you don't know, which you probably already do, Christian Hannah Horror on YouTube here.
Planet CHH. Planet CHH.
Planet CHH.
No, right. So I love 5. I think 5 is cool because of the director bringing his British kind of tone to it. There's really cool gothic kind of music pieces to it. I think it's a good movie despite it being rushed. It's kind of like that Child's Play 3 thing. It's like, hey, there's still something there. And again, Alice is so lovely. I love the characters. I love the comic book kid. I love the best friend that works at the hospital, and she's like, "Quit being a dumbass," blah, blah, blah. I like 5. I really do. I love the scene. Quite frankly, it's one of the cooler dream sequences where she's in the shower and the water keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and she's stuck in there. That's creepy. I love that. That
is.
I think it's fun. I think it's the late 80s, and when you take those big 3 slashers, Michael, Freddy, and Jason, I think Dream Child is the most ambitious out of the 3 for sure. I love it. I like Jason Takes Manhattan so much, and Darkest Side of Night's one of the greatest songs ever made. But I mean, comparatively speaking, I think Dream Child still kind of goes over the hill bigger than the rest of the 2. So I love it. I love Dream Child so much. Freddy's Dead is unabashedly Freddy's Dead, and I don't think it's like, I love Jason X because it's Jason X, right? Same thing with Freddy's Dead. One of the greatest posters ever, that beautiful red poster with Freddy's hand coming through. I love it. The soundtrack, amazing again. I mean, Goo Goo Dolls, the real Goo Goo Dolls, my Goo Goo Dolls, the punk rock band that I grew up listening to and loving. Also, Fate's Warning, one of the coolest prog metal songs ever. Iggy Pop, Alice Cooper is Freddy's Dead. I love it. I like the, I wouldn't change anything about Freddy's Dead because Carlos is honestly one of my favorite characters of all time. I'm Carlos in that movie. I think everybody's got a little bit of Carlos in them. Like, this is bullshit. What are we doing? The map thing. The map says I love Carlos.
One of the greatest lines.
Breckenmeyer pisses me off because it's like, dude, pull all your hair into a ponytail or let the ponytail out. What are you doing? It's weird, but I like Freddy's Dead a lot. Again, all the endings of these movies, it's like, how do you really end a nightmare movie? You can't kill Freddy anyway, right? He's just a dream. So if you kill him or bring him back, doesn't he just revert again back to the dream world? Because that's what happens. But I love Freddy's Dead. End of an era. I like New Nightmare. I do think it can be a little slow, and I don't know. I like a lot of the small stuff, like Wes Craven directing his movie in the movie is really cool. I love the final stuff where in that world with Freddy and the big Freddy statue mouth and
the pterodactyl.
Beautiful. Yeah,
I always
beautiful.
forget about that.
I do like New Nightmare. It's pretty higher middle of the rating for me. Freddy versus Jason. I've said this before. It can't be a bad movie if Robert Englund is in it because Freddy really. I mean, whether you like these movies or not, Robert Englund is always on. So I think it's always a plus with Robert Englund in that movie. So I like Freddy versus Jason. It's bullshit. Freddy would absolutely destroy Jason, especially that moron Jason in that movie. He was an idiot. And the remake, it is what it is. I'm not going to shit on the remake. It doesn't matter to me. Again, it's just the remake. I don't know. Jackie Earle Haley's cool. I like him. He's done some cool full moon movies like Doll Man. So I like Jackie.
Great actor. He's just not Freddy.
I don't know. The only thing I kind of wondered if they wouldn't have made Freddy a child predator in the remake, because it seems like they almost changed their mind in the movie. They were going to make him innocent, and then I feel like they decided last minute, no, let's make him evil. But then again, would that have made that movie better? I don't know. I
wouldn't have loved it more, but I would have thought it was a little more clever.
Yeah. Yeah. But I got to say, to wrap it up, though, the best poster in the franchise to me.
How do you pick a favorite?
There's so many good. It's got to be in one of the Matthew Joseph Peaks, though.
Well, of course. Honestly, I really like 2. It's so weird because in 3, it's this beautiful, spacious sky thing. 5, I really like the video store where it's just the straight blue and then Freddy over the baby carriage. Yeah, I love that. But honestly, what's so cool about 2 is it's so weird. Like in that one, every one of them it's not necessarily abstract, but everything's distressed and big looking. But in part 2, you literally see the tile on the bathroom wall.
Yes.
You see the shaving cream bottle, like it's a bathroom. And then, but in the window, so I got to go with part 2 as my favorite. It's just the creepiest one. And when you see the poster blow up, you can see the outline of the girl's panties, which is kind of hot. So I do like 2, and I love how manly they make Mark Paquin look at his hand right there. His hand is massive.
Seriously.
But best franchise in the world. I love Nightmare Part 2. That's my favorite. So I got to say that Part 2's poster is also my favorite. And after that, it could be Freddy's Dead. I mean, when you get that poster blown up, that beautiful red, it's just lovely.
That is one of them I did have hanging over my bed for a long time was the Freddy's Dead. It is cool.
Yeah. But Freddy would whip Jason's ass any day of the week. It's not even a contest. So that's where I'll leave it off.
Thank you so much, CHH. Planet CHH, everyone. Check it out if you haven't. Like I said, I'm sure you already have.
All right, Sam, represent for me. Don't let these guys shit talk the rest of these movies.
Oh, no, I gotcha.
All right, love y'all. I'll see y'all later.
Love you, bro.
Bye, dude.
Nice hearing from you, CHH.
Nice. That was so good. That Freddy voice is so good.
I've been practicing since I was 5.
You could cosplay a decent Freddy. You're the right body type. You can make it work.
Thank you. I've always thought that too. If there was one horror icon I could play, I could slash the shoulder, get the glove,
You'd scare a lot of kids on Halloween, buddy.
Oh, I have. Even without being Freddy. You are all my children now. Anyway, back to part 4.
I'm just going to be like, just every time you do the Freddy voice, I'm just going to bask in it. It's like, that's awesome.
Thanks. Oh, stop it.
I'm sorry. I can't do voices.
People say I can, I guess. I didn't think they were that good sometimes, but thank you. Anyway.
So, where are we?
I think we're still... Who hasn't talked about Nightmare 4 aside from myself?
Nightmare 4. I haven't talked about Nightmare 4. Okay. Nightmare 4 completes the trilogy of the sisters from the show Just the 10 of Us.
Yep.
Thies, Heather Langenkamp, and I forget the third one. The third one was one of the 2 girls on the bus.
Yeah.
In part 2, Joanne Willett. But the show only ran for a season, so the show itself is not a big deal. But I always thought it was kind of cool that there was three actresses from the same show that ended up making an appearance in the different movies.
80s shows, no less, right?
Huh?
80s shows.
Yeah, the one season ran in like 1988, so
Okay.
this was probably right around the same time as this movie. So, yeah. Like I said before, I don't think there's necessarily a movie in this franchise that I don't like. So I don't have anything bad to say about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Orc, part 4.
How's it going, buddy?
You've been sitting there
Here we
really
go.
patient.
There we go.
Part 4. Fuck this movie. It sucks. It's terrible.
Eat shit, Orc.
Can suck my
Oh,
balls.
You are lucky
I
that
know.
it's just
right
us 4
now.
left. Sauce and Christian would have started beating you by now.
Yeah, but they're not here, so fuck them. I'm just kidding.
Orc, I love you so much. But there you go. Your favorite trucker is back.
Welcome back.
Mikey.
Hey.
You just missed some mouth fucking.
And real
otherwise
quick,
you're good.
this one's for Mr. Dr. CZ Death and
That's
Sam.
we're not there
No
yet.
screaming while the bus is in motion.
Yep. I've like when we get there, I'll have to tell you guys how I ruined my mother. Like I broke her brain with how many times I watched that movie.
Okay, so we have mother stories for part 6. We
Oh,
both
yeah.
do. That'll be curious to get to. Dan, did you already comment earlier on Nightmare 4? We have
Yeah,
a long
pretty-
stretch. Yeah,
Pretty much. I
thought so.
I do always put Tuesday night over though. I like
Yes,
her.
yes.
Sometimes she doesn't get the respect she deserves, even with the random human puppies that she carries around. She's awesome. I love her.
She is, when they always talk about these leading girls as the girl next door, she to me really does fit that as far as her character playing, like
Yeah.
Sam said, the quiet, kind of nerdish, meek,
Mhm.
but smart and pretty at the same time.
Yeah, she nailed it. She nailed it.
Not that I
thing
really
is-
care, but wasn't there a thing that she slept with the director or something like that?
No, that was. Are you checking Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh, I meant Lisa Wilcox is who I meant on that last comment. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I do like Tuesday fine enough, but I don't think she's the girl next door though. I screwed that up. Yeah, I was meaning
Well,
Lisa.
I mean, if somebody slept with a 1988 Rennie Harlan, I'm not gonna hold it against them.
Yeah, that long flowing blonde Fabio.
Dude, I know.
Jess, you want to
Anyway.
confess something?
No. It's just I realized after I said that something. I wanted to move on though. I just wanted to. I was hoping none of it
Hey,
registered.
Jeff. Oh my
So-
god.
I gotta bring something up about Nightmare 4. You know, I love Alice, but it's sort of like, what would have happened if all her friends hadn't died and given her a personality?
All my friends are dead.
Because
I get you. They all gave her powers.
Were dead friends.
Personality, yeah. Good question.
Thoughts?
That is curious. I wouldn't know what she wouldn't be as strong, maybe to speak out. That would
The
definitely
shitty movie wouldn't have been made.
had more confidence in part 5.
No.
Okay, Orc. I don't want you to leave, but I think you need to mute yourself.
Her hair would still be greasy if her friends hadn't died, so I guess she got Debbie's hair or Kristen's because it's kind of bouncy. It looks a lot nicer after. I forget after whose death it looks nicer. I think it might be Kristen's.
That was a wig. No, it wasn't.
I play that game with Scream all the time with Drew Barrymore.
Is it
Is it
not?
a wig? And it's like the nice thing about going back and rewatching The Craft multiple times is like that's a wig, but it looks really good all the time with Robin Tooney.
And pretty good movie. I like that.
Oh yeah.
I like The Craft. Well, I guess I'll spit out Nightmare 4 real quick. Again, what has already been said by you guys? You know, the MTV Nightmare. It's fun. It's definitely not at the top of my list, never has been, but it's a solid Nightmare on Elm Street film. And at this point, you know, when it came out, I still don't think I was quite old enough to go. I didn't go see Freddy's in theaters. Horror movies would have probably terrified me in theaters still at this point. But I saw it as soon as it was out on VHS, probably the first day it was released. I was calling the video stores. And we talked about the poster. The art on the box was the same. It's probably the box art that I remember the most in video stores was for part 4.
Mm-hmm.
High points, Kincaid. We were talking about some of the best lines earlier. One of my favorites at that age, 7 years old, was "fucking A" when he slams him down in the junkyard at the beginning. Think you've crushed Freddy. Yeah, I love Kincaid.
Also, his dog Jason that pees fire.
Yes.
Which it's
Well,
like,
and the Jason reference with the dog.
yeah,
It's
but it's
almost a
like,
little-
buddy, like, okay, so, man, fucking dog, like, how did the dog get in the dream? Can Kristen
bring the
an
dog?
animal too?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah.
Establishes it.
Well, it established that in the opening scene when before the Kincaid death scene, that the dog came out and bit her in the arm out of the
true.
boiler.
You're right. That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to draw a line at animals. It's like, so you could bring an animal into your dream. Get a fucking tiger. Send it after Freddy. It'll be fine.
But maybe you have to personally know that animal in order to bring it into your
Go
dream.
to the zoo more often. I don't know. Get a snake.
Obviously, that's a high point, though. That scene, that junkyard scene, man, can't beat it.
That's really good.
Like you said earlier, didn't you quote that you shouldn't have buried me? I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kincaid's back. I mean, would have loved to have more of him, but in these type of movies, honestly, I'm real thankful he came back for the sequel. And the waterbed scene, that's like the biggest part on my notes. I guess I wrote it the biggest.
Because the titties are the biggest?
Well, I was going to say, you know, there's not a ton of boobs in this franchise, but there's just enough.
There's the right amount, but you kind of almost want more, but then you're like,
yeah.
That might be a little trashy.
Leave them wanting more, but it keeps it, you know, with dignified, what's the word? Classy, like you said.
Did anybody ever own a waterbed? Licorice Pizza had me looking into waterbeds.
They're uncomfortable. If you have bad backs, they're not the greatest after a while. But yes, my sister had one in the 80s, which I inherited. And anytime I slept on that, of course, this scene came into my head. And, you know, was Freddy going to bust through in the middle of the night and take me down?
Sounded like he was busting in a different way. And
there we go. All right. Oh, my God. It ranks, it's better than part 5, probably now better than part 6, or Freddy's Dead, though I have nostalgia for that. That's about it of the original series. It's better than maybe. Yeah. Definitely part 5, and probably parts in Freddy's Dead. And slowly, it's inching its way over New Nightmare, because I move these around because I love every one of them. It's just kind of what do I get worn out with. 1 and 3 will always be at the top. The others move.
Yeah, I think my top 2 has never changed. Even when I was a kid, I think that was always sort of my
those
ranking.
were, yeah. I think that's for a lot of folks. So let's move on to this.
If we must.
I've got to stand up for it because
dog shit. Sorry, go ahead.
It's not a very strong entry, and I know it was super rushed. I think it has its merits, but the problem is like the death scenes are so complex, and you only get 3 of them. But when you edit them to fucking ribbons, what are you going to expect? The death scenes can be found. I mean, I've found Dan and Greta's deaths on YouTube in the uncut form, and they are brutal. Like, you can actually, you get to see Freddy scooping out Greta's stomach and feeding it to her. if that
Yeah.
doesn't creep you out a little bit, maybe lower your standards. I don't know.
It does. No, it's creepy, but it's still kind of on the weak side and not as compared to the earlier stuff, the earlier kills.
When you consider, that Splatterpunk pioneers John Skip and Craig Spector wrote for this movie, it's man, it's so disappointing. This one actually keeps slowly crawling down the list for me. I can't bring myself to like it. It's not the worst, but it's close. My pick for worst, that kind of alternates depending, but yeah, I don't know. 5 was, I didn't like it when I was a kid either. Like I've never really had nostalgia for 5.
I was just going to ask you, Dan, did it seem, it's obviously saw at an early age to you, kind of like it was cheaper than the previous ones, done quickly. You could tell that at a pretty young age.
Makeup.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like there's things you can pick at with 4. Again, the series really starts going in very odd directions, but 4 is a beautiful film. I mean, effects wise. So I didn't think 5 had a whole lot going for it. We did I don't know, a couple years ago now, a franchise show. I watched it again. I was told, oh no, you'll see, what they saw. I still don't. But
the gothic element maybe went a little darker than the last one, but they just didn't execute it right. It was still too.
Yeah. I don't, and I'm a huge, and maybe that's part of it too, because Skip and Spector, they're pretty early in my horror reading days too. I don't think I realized that when I first watched 5 or anything like that, but yeah, maybe that influences it too, because I don't know. Don't like 5. I'm sorry.
I am not a fan of the dark circles under Freddy's eyes in this. I mean, he was like, y'all just killed him a couple of months ago. Hasn't been that long. There's no reason for him to be looking like an old man. I guess it's because we freed all of the souls and he's got to start from scratch. But, I think if we had just not done the whole thing with Amanda, we could have it would have been stronger. Like I don't
the baby.
No, with Amanda Kruger. Yeah, I really didn't need this whole thing about, we've got to go and free Amanda from her earthly prison. I'm like, why?
Yeah, I liked Amanda Part 3, but the whole concept of the goal of the movie is to free her from the tower.
Yeah, and I mean, that would have made more sense if it was sort of like, so at the end of 5, Amanda says to Jacob that Alice can't win this. No, it's like, no, this is just can't be done. And, that's when Jacob has to like vomit up all of the souls that Freddy's been feeding him. Which, God.
God, there again, bringing up the endings of these movies aren't really why we watch them necessarily.
No, I know, but it's also sort of like if there was like a heavier feeling of doom and that Alice literally was not going to be able to defeat Freddy, if that was established from early on, maybe I would have, maybe it would have been a different movie at the end, kind of the doom and gloom thing. I would have liked that. But yeah, also I saw this take on in one of it was Dread Central. Somebody was talking about how Yvonne was like a final girl. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? You smoking crack? I'm like, Yvonne is a side character. Alice is the final girl.
Alice is definitely the final girl.
Like, man. But
Yvonne
I mean, again,
survived, and she was a solid enough character, but yeah.
Yeah, again, this bitch also misspelled Freddy Krueger. And fucking Dread Central paid this bitch to write that. I'm like, damn.
Dread Central's full of shit in general. Yeah. It's all paid
and they
reviews.
Follow me on Twitter. I don't know why. I keep waiting for that to stop. I check every day. You still following me? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I get pissed off.
Don't trust.
Red Central, Fangoria, Bloody Disgusting.
Well, Dread Central in particular, don't trust their reviews of anything.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm still wondering why porn stars follow me.
That's a hella compliment. You ever get really excited when somebody with a blue check follows you? Like, ooh, I'm slightly important.
Oh, Sam, fantastic.
Is
Wait a
it my
minute, Dan.
turn?
I didn't get to ask Christian how he would have reacted if he walked into his living room and Owen Hart was tearing up baby Freddie. Oh
Man,
my
why
gosh,
is
yeah,
it
his
Owen
doggy.
Hart? Why is it Owen Hart?
It's his dog, his pug.
I didn't realize this pug was named Owen Hart. Never mind.
His pug is Owen Hart. Yes.
I thought this was a weird. Never mind.
Owen was a prankster, though. He might have done that too.
He might have ripped up a baby Freddie in the locker room, possibly.
Weirder things have happened in the locker room back then, but
Oh my.
Yeah, so I have to add this also in Nightmare 5. You know, because there's a brief mention. God damn it. There's a brief mention about, Alice having Alice maybe getting, not keeping the baby. So it's like, well, does that mean adoption or abortion? And it's, pretty much implied that it's abortion. And then I think Dan's parents wanted to adopt it anyway. But, you just kind of like, oh, we briefly mentioned not having the baby. And I'm like, I don't think Freddie would have allowed that. Ergo,
I think he would have saved it somehow.
Freddie is pro-life. Just gonna say that now.
Okay. Interesting.
I know.
But
I have so many insights.
That is some interesting insight. I do like it though. Freddie is pro-life. Is there? We got a sticker or T-shirt.
I mean,
I don't know whether we gained viewers, lost them, or
we're gonna have Bloomhouse do Nightmare on Elm Street in an abortion clinic now. It's gonna happen.
all right.
Actually, I can kind of see that in my head, and it might not be the worst idea, depending how you did it. But
I mean, it is horror.
Yeah, I mean, but that just makes me want to rewatch Red Christmas.
Red Christmas or the Masters of Horror, where Ron Perlman's trying to stop the girl from having an abortion at the clinic. I can't remember the name of the episode, but the John Carpenter one. It's an interesting monster story.
Oh, and real quick before we go to Kory, Ben, I have the uncensored version on VHS found at a garage. Uncensored of Part 5. I didn't know that came on VHS. I knew it was on the Laserdisc.
Well, damn.
Damn.
If we could just get all of these movies restored and put out in a new box set, I'd be good to go.
I mean, the DVD set is, we've talked about this on other streams, is still one of the ultimate box sets of all time. I'm not necessarily talking about the updated picture quality on Blu-rays and 4Ks, but like just box sets themselves of movies. The Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, that's the magical 8th one, which is just the maze and all the Easter eggs. It's like, oh, you want your Easter eggs? Here, we have them all on one DVD. Enjoy.
And it's great. And it was great. And the greatest interviews until the Nightmare doc came out, Never Sleep Again. It had the most information that we had ever gotten. Anyway, Kory.
Nightmare 5. See, I got my first job in 97. And with my first paycheck, I went to a little store called Family Dollar. And they sold movies there for like $1 or $2 a piece on VHS. And Nightmare 5 was the very first movie I ever bought with my first paycheck. It was the blue cover with the carriage and Freddy standing over it and whatnot. And I watched the shit out of this movie. I loved this movie. I think this movie is great. I think it's fun. I don't think there's anything wrong with this movie. Uh, I think that people try to overthink things too much sometimes, and it's just movies can just be fun. They don't have to be the Casablanca of horror or just they're supposed to entertain. So if you have fun with it, then great. I have fun with this movie, so I don't have anything bad to say about it.
Well, I do, but I mean, I gotta say, yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
but you
I said it
suck.
at the beginning. Well, I don't. I don't. My mom said I didn't. So I'm cool.
But Dan said you do.
Dan says a lot of things.
Well, at least with Freddy.
We're still on the air.
So
I was gonna say, as I said earlier, I love every one of these in the original franchise with every time Robert Englund's played it, basically, of the movies. So that being said, this is my least favorite with Robert Englund in it. And we've talked about a lot of the weak parts of it already, so I'm not going to repeat that. The thing I remember most about it when it first came out was the trailer spot, TV spot, and he's skateboarding. And I thought, still as a little kid, oh, that's more Freddy. I can't wait. And he's skateboarding now. And of course, my older brother was into skateboarding. So I was a little bit. So I thought that was going to be really cool. And now I don't think that necessarily. Freddy skateboarding.
I did have a couple other things I wanted to bring up. So when
Go ahead and
you're
bring
done,
them
let
up.
me
That's
know.
about all I had to say about it. I still love it, but it is my least favorite.
Okay. As much as I said that I don't have anything wrong with this movie, I didn't necessarily like the fact that Freddy's one arm was like hanging down past his knees.
Mm-hmm.
But shit, I lost my train of thought.
His arm.
Yeah, his arm.
That's how he was rebirthed, is how I kind of explain it now in my head. Like he was kind of off at growing as that baby. Didn't she something happened with his arms when he was growing? I don't know.
I don't remember. But you guys had mentioned Amanda Kruger. Me personally, I would love to get like a TV show, like a prequel to all of this based on Amanda Kruger and raising Freddy as a child.
Well,
Young Sheldon, sort of, with
Yes, young Freddy.
like a dark version of it.
Yes, I think that would be amazing.
Have
But
Robert
did she
Englund
even
voice
raise
the
him?
kid.
she gave him up for adoption.
Yeah,
I think
because Alice
after
Cooper was his
years.
adopted father.
Like maybe
That's
it's
fine.
earlier.
Give me that though.
But
But
she was
I
an
mean,
old nun still, so she wouldn't have kept her kid, I don't think.
Well, she wasn't old at the time.
Teen angst Freddy. That'd be
No,
kinda
but she
cool.
didn't keep him because she was still a nun in her older age, so I don't think she would have kept the child.
And that's fine. But still, I would love to see that story in some sort of TV format. Just keep it away from
I'm
the
just
CW.
telling you the story's not there.
I'm telling you it is.
I just want to hear a kid in Robert Englund's voice. Fuck you, mom, and then slamming his door. It's worth it. We can just change the story.
Slams it a
little bit.
couple times.
It's its own thing. Whips his emo hair to the side.
Shit, there was something else I was going to bring up too, and I forgot. Getting old sucks.
My fault.
No. This is just getting old.
Or can stay muted if he wants, unless you have any last comments on part 5. But I think that says it all.
It fucking sucks ass. Yeah, buddy.
I love you, Work. Thanks for
Love
coming.
you too. Yeah.
Corey, do you remember?
If I
before
remember what the other thing is, I'll bring it up later.
we can always come back.
Yeah.
We'll just real quick pull these up because I feel like I've been.
Oh wait, I
Some
forgot
good
something,
comments.
Jess.
Okay, go ahead.
It fucking sucks ass. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
I love you and fuck you, Work. Ben Grimm, uncensored on VHS and Laserdisc. I did not know that, man. I just thought the Laserdisc was the only place that you could see the footage. Wicked Witch Freddy, yes. And that kind of goes along with New Nightmare, which we'll probably get to.
See, that's just where it just goes a little too much.
Super Freddy was kind of cool though.
I love how they did that makeup and
Yeah.
all the costuming in black and white and gray. I'm like, oh, beautiful.
I just remembered what the other thing was.
Yeah,
The-
that Freddy prequel. I'd like to see a real film one properly done, but I think Robert may be too old for that. He can still play Freddy, but I don't know about himself or unburnt Freddy.
The Flesh Wound guys are doing a Freddy's Nightmares retrospective, and there's a reason why I'm not on it. I'll just leave it at that.
I will say, as hardcore of a Freddy fan as I am, I was not, even as a kid. I watched it, but there was always something that made me feel off after watching that show.
It's not good. There's a
It's
YouTube
not.
video where you can just watch all the Robert Englund stuff, and I recommend you do that.
That's good enough.
I think it's like in Pokemon where Ditto like tries to copy another Pokemon, like it's trying to copy a Pikachu, but its face looks like a Ditto, and it's all like it's just a fucked up copy. So I know somebody out there got that joke.
I did not, but
I didn't.
I did not.
Pokemon.
I wasn't talking to you guys. I was talking to our wonderful viewers.
I remember being forced to go to the Digimon movie because I made my brother watch something, and I remember distinctly this guy sitting next to us leaning over. He's like, "If they play that fucking song again, I'm gonna blow my brains out."
Digimon,
Yes.
Oh God.
I know Chris
It's
Overholt in the
terrible.
chat earlier is I think he's a fan of like true Pokemon, not the Americanized stuff in recent years.
Was it like
guys-
super violent, the original version?
I don't
or
know.
something?
Or maybe I'm saying it wrong. I know anime, Pokemon. I don't really know
They blur Pikachu's pubes. And
it. Oh, well, maybe I should watch it.
You guys keep bringing up Pokemon, and it reminds me of my idea for a Jamaican porno, Pokermon.
God
So
damn.
that one already exists.
Does it really?
It has to.
Damn it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. And I will find it.
That is your
Oh.
assignment, Dan. By the next horror rumble, we want to see a copy of Pokermon.
Oh God.
We haven't brought up Wet Dream on Elm Street, which is a great parody of, and legit, like good makeup too.
Well, there he is. He's still listening. Thanks, Chris. Hadn't heard from you in a while. Yeah. See, he knows, Sam. He got
True.
it. He got it. Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare.
Oh boy. This is the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie I saw. I'm pretty sure of it. So, okay, and I didn't get to see it in the theater. I had to wait until it came out on VHS to rent. It's funny because like the first nightmare I ever had was about Freddy Krueger, and it was because I saw like a TV commercial, and it was probably around I was really little. I was probably like around 3 or something from what I can remember. And it was probably like just a brief clip of something on the TV, and I had a nightmare from it. So my first nightmare, and then Nightmare 6, first one I actually got to watch, and I rented it over like my birthday weekend when I was turning 8, I think it was. It's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it came out in 91, so it must have been for around my 8th birthday. And I also had a bunch of nightmares because I just kept like watching it like over and over and over. And because my mom is, like, she's going to watch these things with me to make sure, that I'm not getting scared and that I understand that this is a movie and not real life, right? Which, that's good parenting. I broke her brain because, like, I made her watch this movie so many times. She still quotes it for, like, random pieces for no reason.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, like, I just, sometimes like if we were in the car driving somewhere, and it was like maybe a short stop or something like that, she would pull out the no screaming while the bus is in motion.
Motion.
No, like I crossed some wires there.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness. So, bless her. Yes,
Bless
I
her.
mean, it's like the makeup's not great in this. It looks, it's a little plasticky. I still like it. I like this movie because it's fun. I like
Yes.
jokes, even, and I mean, there's some stuff that makes me squirm. Like the ear trauma with Carlos. I'm like, oof.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like the deaths are funny, and I get a lot of good laughs from it. And it's not exactly like, the plot's like, okay, well, Freddy's got a kid. That's interesting. Kind of wish they'd gone more with, it's like, because John Doe is just established like not in the movie, but he is Alice's son Jacob grown up. Because this plays around with the timelines a lot. It takes like 10 years in the future, which who the fuck knows when that is.
Was it from 91? Was it from Alice's last movie year? Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we could assume that it's supposed to be set in 2001 since it came out in 91, but then Jacob wouldn't be the right age. So I kind of wish we'd gone that route, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Still like it. Still think it's fun. Love Iggy Pop. The soundtrack's fun, like just phenomenal.
Well, there again, bringing up the director, Rachel. I think she's cool enough. I don't know if that was. Yeah.
I mean, and she worked on pretty much all of them, right?
All of them. And the greatest thing in that company and no other places in Hollywood, it doesn't usually work like that. I mean, you might move up a little in the production side, but you're not going to go from basically a PA, she was in the first one, or an accountant assistant, to a producer, associate producer by parts 2 and 3, line producer, and then to be a full producer, and then get a direct the final installment.
I'll take it. I mean, I love Tank Girl too, so
I think she's great, and I love watching her interviews about these movies. And I got what she was trying to do, and I love the movie too. It's definitely not the best or the scariest Freddy by far, but I love it.
I'm a little surprised that Sean Greenblatt, who played John Doe, he didn't go farther, because he definitely has some Johnny Depp vibes. But his daughter was in this Netflix movie where it's like people couldn't sleep. It came out like last year. I can't remember the name of it.
Wasn't aware of this.
Yeah, it was not that great of a movie. Like the only way that you could sleep is like you'd have to die and somebody would have to bring you back to life, and then your brain resets and, oh cool, I can sleep again.
Okay.
But yeah, we didn't get there till way at the end of that movie. But I thought that was a cool little connection. It's like, oh, he was in Freddy's Dead, and then his daughter went on to do this.
Dream movie. Okay.
Yeah, like runs in the family.
Yeah, we should have seen more of him in other movies. Well, there's still time. I think the guy's still around. He's not that old.
Yeah.
So
we got plenty of Breckenmeyer after, later on. Jesus.
Yeah.
So Franklin and Bash was a good show.
What was that one? It didn't last more than a season, but he was like played somebody from the Midwest. It was like right around road trip time. He had a sitcom.
I don't know. I only vouch for Franklin and Bash.
Okay.
I think he played John Arbuckle in the Garfield movie, right?
He did, yes. But there was a sitcom before that, I want to say. And I can't. It didn't last long. I liked it though, that he was in. Freddy's Dead was pretty good until the end. It really dropped the ball in the last act. Yes and no, and I'm gonna go ahead and just do mine because I'm gonna defend this. I should have had these on already.
Yeah, nice.
I did. I can't. I got headphones.
They're on.
I saw this in theaters, and these are not from the DVD box set. These are from 1991. There we go.
Very cool.
They're in such good condition too.
I have 3 pair.
Oh, very good.
You can see Suburban Commando advertisement, I think. There we go. And on the other side, great movie, House Party 2. Anyway, so my story, this one holds a special place in my heart. So I think the nostalgia, even though I don't rank it as high as others because I love them all. Anyway, I mumble. It's the first Freddy I saw in theaters. I'm 10 years old, so even still, I'm pretty young. I got both of my dad would usually take me to movies like this. My mom would go to other movies, but I talked her and my dad into going. It was a late show because of the 3D, and I thought the whole movie was going to be in 3D. It was only the ending. So I'm 10 years old. I go with my mom and dad, and I'm probably thankful at this time in life that the movie wasn't hardcore, full of, gore and sex, sitting there as 10 with my parents. And so I enjoyed it. I had fun. I wasn't too terrified being in the theater at 10 years old. I liked the fun comic aspect of it. My whole family laughed at, the map says we're fucked.
Oh yeah. My mom quotes that line as well.
So that's the relation. My mom, got a kick out of it. She knew I was a Freddy fan since I was little. She didn't really care to see it at first, but we had fun, and I'd never seen a 3D movie before. So, and in the theaters, the 3D, as far as I remember, was awesome. Once it came on video, not so much. That ending was not
still, that's
very
cool
good.
though.
But so it holds a big place in my heart. I rank it usually above. It used to be above 4 and 5, but it definitely ranks above 5 for me still, and I don't think that'll change. But yeah, that's what I got. That's my story.
I like part 6. I don't like it as much as I do the first 5 movies, but I will say fuck 3D. I hate the concept. I wipe my ass with the concept. It fucks shit up, and I don't like it. Just shoot the fucking movie and let me see it. I don't need all the stupid gimmicks. The map says we're fucked line is hilarious. I love that. And I guess I understand where people kind of lose themselves with this one as far as it being too campy or whatever, but it's a fun movie. I don't need it to be, part 1 or part 2 at this point. It's the 6th movie. So.
Well, and that, like they've said many times, what were we going to do? Freddy was already in the light. Let's try something. It didn't quite work the way they wanted, or a lot of us wanted, but there is some funny parts, some great lines too. Every town has an Elm Street.
Which ours does, but it only has like 2 houses on it, and it's not very big.
Yeah, honestly, the smaller towns around us have more houses on their Elm Streets.
I kind of lived on an Elm Street, but I used to live in a trailer park, and there'd be sections that were, little mini roads within the trailer park itself, and I lived on Elm, so I'll take it.
Awesome. I'd take it too, yeah. And I do. I haven't brought this up real quick. I have visited the actual house that they use for parts 1, 2, and 7 many times in Hollywood.
That's awesome.
It's right off of Sunset Boulevard.
You can see so much. We did the Halloween and all sorts of different houses the last time we were down there. It's amazing the people I know that live there and never bothered to do it.
Well, me in the Halloween house, I've driven by it and I kind of regret it. I never stopped in Pasadena.
Oh, yeah, you got to go up, get a photo.
Next time I go there, and I will be going back because we have a lot of dear friends there still.
Yeah, make it a point.
I will make a point.
You can talk to Todd. We mapped out. We only went to half, but we found out a whole bunch of cool places that you don't even think of.
They're really not that far to me. I just always visited Nightmare and brought people when they came and visited because it's my thing.
Yeah,
but Pasadena wasn't far from. I mean, I lived Glendale.
Yeah, no, it's all over the place.
It's all right. Yeah,
he showed us where the movies is from the Kevin Smith films, and there's just so much cool shit out there. But
and I've driven by half of it and didn't even stop to think in the 15 years I was out there. But I see, since we're already talking, Dan.
Oh, full screen.
This is gonna be like Halloween Kills all over again, isn't it?
It's not as bad as Halloween Kills, but it just went too Looney Tunes for me. I understand, like, we're deep into it at this point. Freddy's been wisecracking Freddy for a while now, but I don't know, it's never made me laugh. It's just an obnoxious movie. I'm sorry. I know you love it. I don't want to kill the memories, but I don't like this one at all.
That's what the Rumble's about.
It's better I be here than Lauren. I can only imagine what Lauren would have to say about Freddy's Dead.
He wouldn't say anything. He'd write it down on his little dry erase board and just hold it up.
Correct.
Lauren and I are already talked in private about this show. So
what it just one was all right, the rest are shit. Was that kind of
basically? I mean, he said that
Yes.
100 times on screen, but yeah, it was like, so I'm not going to invite you to this one, Lauren, just to let you know. You might still see him on this channel on Monday. So stay tuned.
There you go.
And since Dan said that, I assume you were finished. But Mr. Orc, our buddy Dying Breed,
Mikey, my man, what's up, man?
give you a real talk, baby.
Real
got a meme
talk.
or
What's
anything?
up? All right, so part 6, I give it a solid 5 out of 10 stars. You want to know why it gets that many?
Why is that?
The Power Glove, Nintendo Power Glove. That's right.
I was wondering why you were giving it such a high score after all we've been through this episode.
Yeah.
So now
that's
you're
about
playing
it.
with power.
Yeah, and it was the first one I saw, so gets halfway to 10. Yeah.
I remember Nintendo got kind of butthurt about the Power Glove thing. I don't remember the outcome, but
Well, I think Robert Shea, they were at first like they said no, but fuck them. That's how Robert Shea produced. He was
because it's just
sue me.
Like, they said what?
People make
anyway.
people make Nintendo all kinds of money, like fat stacks of cash, and they always get butthurt and pissed off every fucking time.
Oh yeah. Well, and that reminded me, we brought up Robert Shea earlier. I won't get into too many Hollywood stories. This isn't that spectacular of an ending. The build-up's more exciting than what actually any outcome. But I did do valet in my early years there for a lot of the big celebrities. It was the big company that did private parties. And on the night of the Academy Awards, or the night before the Academy Awards, where Lord of the Rings won Best Picture, Return of the King, I was at Robert Shea had the biggest party in Hollywood, New Line Cinema. He was still in charge, and I valeted there. And I'm standing there at the end of the night. I mean, there's all sorts of stories of this one of who I saw. Everybody was there. Lord of the Rings people, Harvey Keitel.
You got to make a video about this, man.
I should, it's kind of like I always feel like I'm gloating.
Dude, who gives
my
a
own
fuck?
horn,
Make a video anyways. That's
dropping
awesome.
names, whatnot.
I've been telling him for years. He won't listen to me.
Corey's right.
Well,
Trust your best friend, man.
Stories. We want to hear the stories.
Well, okay. Well, they pop out slowly. And in 15 years, I forget most shit until a movie or somebody triggers something, says a name, and it's like, oh yeah, I worked with them, or I parked their car, or
No, we still want to hear it.
I stood in for him.
We're interested.
Okay. Well,
Andy
one,
Dick
like I
is
said,
my favorite.
The Andy Dick story, well, I'm sure that'll be brought up again on a different show.
When are you going to go as Andy Dick for Halloween? You
Oh,
just
God,
need
I
a wig.
can't.
You'll be fine.
If you hadn't heard it out there, long story short, Andy Dick probably wanted to suck my dick, but that's for a different time. So I'm at Robert Shea's house. 2005, whatever year it was that they won. Lynn Shea pulls up. Here's a little side story in that his sister, the security guard, asks her for her name. And I'm like, that's Bob's sister. Had to kind of whisper because she was like, Shay. And I wish I would have been even more than just telling him, hey, that's Robert, Shay's sister. I should have been like, that's fucking Lynn Shea, dude. What's wrong with you? Anyway, So towards the end of the night, everybody's coming out from the parties, and I'm standing there in our little line, waiting to be, called to get a car. And the stick shifts, run them up the canyon, all anyway. And I hear these voices behind me, and I'm like, and it wasn't in my head this time, Work.
Oh,
And they sounded really familiar, and I'm like, yeah, but these two voices, they're really both totally familiar. This has almost got to be in my head because I'm at Robert Shea's house. And I turn around, and they're right behind me. I could reach my arm back and touch them. Was Wes Craven and Robert Englund just having a fucking casual conversation in Robert Shea's driveway. And I was speechless. I'm going back and forth in my head. Should I say something? What am I going to say? I don't know what to say. Nothing ever came of it.
That's
but
amazing.
I'm just like, I'm standing here listening to Wes Craven and Robert Englund chat right in front of me.
That's so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, it was totally cool. It's so cool. I couldn't tell you what they fucking said, but
no. It's like one of those things. Is this a fever dream?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was awesome.
You should have just strutted up real cool and just gone, Andy Dick tried to suck my dick. And then just walk away.
Oh my God, Dan. I'm never going to live that down. On that note.
Wes just goes, me too.
Somewhere Harvey Weinstein sneezes.
Hey. Oh, thank you guys.
Oh, man. Until I return, I need to fill my water.
I gotta quit smoking.
I need a cigarette.
Anyway, why don't you start us with New Nightmare, Kory, and we'll just go around the clock.
New Nightmare. I hated this movie when it first came out. I said when it first came out. It wasn't until later on that I actually sat down and watched it again and started to appreciate what it was. And I was too young or just didn't care at the time. But when I started watching it again later on, kind of realized that, it's a movie inside of a movie, and the whole Hansel and Gretel thing was kind of cool. And I absolutely love the makeup of Freddy in this one. I love the fact that the claw is his hand this time and it's not a glove. The trench coat.
See, I hated that. I mean, I love the idea, like in part 2, if his hand being the claw and not the glove, but the way they did it in New Nightmare.
But I will say it reminded
bones.
me of what's his name? Lord Zed from the Power Rangers.
Freddy shouldn't remind you of that. I'm sorry.
But it looked cool. I liked it. So.
The trench coat looked cool, but the claw did not.
I will
go on. Sorry.
No, I like the claw being his hand. It just, to me, it looked cool. It felt more like it was a part of him. It's not something that could be knocked off, and like it was in part 4 or in part 6. So
I get that.
But no, I like New Nightmare. I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel that followed in that vein. So I don't know how they do it, but
I don't know how they do it, and that's not the sequel I want to see if we're going to get Robert one more time.
We're not getting Robert one more time. You had Robert one more time on the Goldbergs. You're just going to have to deal with the Jess.
That doesn't count.
He's gone.
But honestly, if I don't get another Freddy movie, I think Freddy versus Jason, which we'll get to, bookends both of those original series just fine for me. Are you done with Wes Craven's New Nightmare?
Yes, I am done with Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Now, I don't know if anybody saw the trailer, but at first, did you think? I mean, I was again still a hardcore fan. This is only 3 years later, and I see a trailer and I'm like, wait a minute, Freddy's dead. Is this about Freddy? Is this a documentary? Yeah. What the hell?
Similar,
but I've got to see it. Exactly.
I so badly wanted to see this in theaters, but my mom was like, this one's too scary. You're too, it's too,
too young.
This one. Yeah. And it's just like, she took me to see Alien 3 in the theater. I mean, it's
But
not
this
like I
one-
didn't see rated R movies in the theater.
But you can't see this one. It's Freddy.
I had to wait until Freddy
Dark.
vs. Jason, so
Mm.
I like it.
Well, I
You
did
know?
see it. I did see it in theaters at 13, and I saw it by myself. And here's
Dang.
well, I was up visiting my sister in near the University of Iowa. It was their college times, and her boyfriend or whatever at the time. They were going somewhere that I didn't really want to go or whatever, so that I had a couple hours or go with them. So they dropped me off at the college mall, basically there. I go up thinking I never really had too much problems in my hometown going to rated R movies.
Mhm.
They must have overlooked it. But I go up to get my ticket and they denied me. And the movie's getting ready to start.
Oh,
And I'm like, are you fucking serious? I've
You've
been
been
watching these movies since I was 5 years old. So I had to make a long story short. I was like, what am I going to do? They left. They already dropped me off. This is before, everybody had cell phones. And I'm like, where am I going to call? I could call on a payphone, but nobody's going to be home to come over to the movie and buy my ticket. So I went into the arcade. There were still some arcades around, people hanging out in them. And I found some dude who looked old enough playing a game. And I kind of went up and was like, hey, man, I'll buy you some games. Can you just go buy my ticket in the theater
The
next door?
classic trick.
yeah,
Nice.
They won't let me in. And he's like, kind of looks at me, grins. And I don't know. I feel like I had to talk him into it. But he did finally, and he went up, and they see me again. He does this little fake, I'm his parental supervision or whatever, and they did let me in.
Nice.
It was a few minutes late into the movie, but I loved it. It was more Freddy, and the biggest thing I loved about it, well, not the biggest, but one of them, is it didn't break continuity. Freddy was still dead. I was like, how are you going to do this 3 years later already? Are we going to just start pulling the old he's never going to die, we're just cash grab? But it was a clever way to bring him back without saying Freddy's dead didn't happen. So
Yeah.
It was Nightmare 7.
I saw somebody refer to Wes Craven's New Nightmare as a requel, and I got so mad I nearly shit on the couch.
No
I'm like,
shit, I agree.
It's not. It's
Pissed me off.
yeah. I'm like, what the fuck is this? No, get the
It's
fuck
not
out.
a requel.
It's not. This person's an idiot, though. Sorry, I'm not going to drop any names on this channel. I'm going to behave myself. I'm going to just say,
except Red Central.
huh?
Except Red Central. Fuck them.
Yeah, that's fine. At some point, like if I ever become like have a platform, all of this is going to get dug up, and they're going to be like, "What about this?" I'm like, yeah, you suck. I'll say it again.
And this time you're going to say their name.
I'll just double down and dig the hole deeper. That's what I do.
So you loved it, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is my second favorite movie in the franchise. For me, it's
really?
It goes 1, 7, 3, 4, 6, 5, 2. No, 4, 6, 5. Freddy vs. Jason, then 2. And the remake can burn in hell.
We'll get there. We'll burn
Yeah.
it together.
No, I mean, I really do like this movie a lot because it was, it was breaking the fourth wall and just doing something different that I hadn't seen. And obviously it was really cool, a really great blueprint for, Scream later. And, I mean, I think, it sucks because it's like we all love Sydney from Scream, but it's like she's just 90s. She's 90s Nancy. That's Nancy, guys. Have you not seen any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies? That's literally Nancy.
Yes.
So, and then, but I mean, also, not just New Nightmare, but Jason Lives, super meta movie itself, which influenced Kevin Williamson. Just like, yeah, I mean, Scream has such a great meta pedigree. It's not a surprise it went over so well, once they figured out the marketing.
Yep.
But no, New Nightmare is great. I just, I wasn't super into the design of Freddy at first. And it's still not really my favorite Freddy look, but it's fine. I asked Robert Englund about those leather pants because he showed up at a convention here down in San Antonio a few years back. And I can't remember what the fuck he said, but he just kind of rolled with it.
That's cool of him.
Yeah, and then Chris asked him a question about not Adventure Time, that other show with the bird and the raccoon.
Come on, Chris.
I know he's sitting in the fucking chat right now.
He was.
Regular show. Because Robert Englund did a guest spot on that, so of course Chris asks about the hipster one.
I was gonna say Meet the Deedles, but that's not what you're talking about.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I remember he was in Meet the Deedles. Yep, regular show. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I mean, I still need to know more about. I want to know more about why there are pterodactyls in the hellscape.
Chris got it.
Indeed.
Yeah, some of that stuff was a little strange.
I mean, I guess it's because
But that's Wes's. That's
Rex-
supposed to, I
Rex
think,
boy.
be Wes's dreams out of his head too. Sort of the demons, the everlasting, the timeless demons taking different shapes and forms. What's scary? I don't know. Wes can say it better than I can.
No, I never thought of it that way. That's cool. I'm gonna have to think about that.
That's what I would just
to know
have
where the
gotten out of it.
Huh?
That's what I was just saying that I kind of picked out of it from it. Just kind of imagined that's Wes's dream world.
Yeah, but so if Nancy can access Wes's dreams,
Well, her story's being written out of Wes's head too. Everything's playing out that comes out of his head onto the script. We're getting deep. Maybe too deep for a Freddy movie.
No, this is good because it's sort of that's one of those things that you kind of have to, every now and then you refresh yourself on a movie, and then you also have to take into account things other people have brought up, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna blow my mind later on, like when I put all this together.
Just thought. Didn't mean to blow your mind.
I think this was the movie that it needed to be coming off of Freddy's Dead, because I don't think you could have just gone right off of that. And I'll be honest, I like New Nightmare better than Scream. Yeah, I'm not a big Scream fan, but it's never been my favorite, but I do respect it. It's one I probably should revisit here soon. Little things you can nitpick at, but what do you do after Freddy's Dead? You really had to do something completely different or just ignore it.
I think this.
Yeah. And it's like Freddy's dead, and then there are 3 more movies.
Yeah, but this one, I mean, the other ones were more spaced out apart. That's what I meant by this was a way to. I mean, it was only 3 years later to do that, and like Dan said, where else could you go? I think it was genius. For the longest time, it's ranked no higher than 3rd.
It's 2
it's
for
moved
some
down
people,
over the years.
but what would you guys do with the franchise now, though? Do you go back to wisecracking Freddy?
No.
Can you even pull that off? What do you do?
I mean, he can have a funny line, but I would go back to darker Freddy. I mean, he was funny even in 2, and he's at his scariest. You've got the body, I've got the brain.
Which is a badass line. It's not a funny line. So
no,
I think that's
in that badass line.
But I think that's the avenue you need to go, though.
Help yourself, fucker.
Which is a badass line. It's not so much humorous as it is badass.
It's badass,
That's
but
true.
it has humor backing it.
That's true. It's not like you're calling somebody a little meatball.
And that's too far.
Green.
Hello, Sam from Mikey and Dan.
I think as far as what's going on with the stuff with
what the fuck's this shit?
Sorry, Sam. These were piling up. And for me, Smiley was my nickname from Mandy Dick.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
You were in danger, Jess.
No, I hope not. That would be terrifying.
That's going to be a really weird game of Mercy.
Oh, God. I don't.
Do the dance for me, Smiley.
Oh, my my gosh. I missed a lot of these. Sorry. These are fantastic. New Nightmare was the first one in the series I saw. Yes.
Yeah, Robocloset never came back.
And so you fell in love with it from that movie? Is that what I'm taking from this, Sam? That he fell in love with
I
watching
don't
New
know if he
Nightmare?
fell in love with it, but I mean, obviously he has good taste if that's since that's the first one that he saw.
Chris
It's a
likes this
weird
nut.
first one to see.
I know.
Although, it's that'd be kind of odd.
To me, I watch them in order, but you could watch at least the first one and then maybe that one
Yeah.
and have an idea.
I guess it depends on, if you're just flipping around channels Saturday afternoon and it's on TV, I'm like, okay, sure, why not? I'll sit down and watch this. It looks weird.
Freddy versus Jason was the first for a lot of people because there was that long time in between. So
almost 10 years from New Nightmare.
Yeah.
Chris actually lived through the Northridge earthquakes.
Yikes.
He was there. Yeah.
Yeah, the tie-in was nice. I did appreciate that touch. I mean, I know that they're God damn it.
I'm sorry.
And there's actually like a cool little fan theory about Wes Craven's New Nightmare. The beautiful dreamer theory is that, Kristen, when she tells Nancy as she's dying in Dream Warriors, she's going to dream her into a beautiful dream. And there's a theory that that's 7. And I'm like, well, I guess I could see it that way, but I'll take it either way. What do y'all think?
I agree.
It's
That's definitely an interesting take on it.
Yeah.
What do you dream, Dan? And then Mikey responded, or Ben responded to Mikey, Dan dreams of hats.
And frogs and assless chaps.
Frogs and assless chaps, yes.
Oh, that region free joke just bled right on over.
Go listen to Region Free, and you will understand.
Yeah. It'll make
Went on
sense,
along.
we swear.
Honestly, a great show. We wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for Region Free or its original incarnation of the Sausage Factory. So definitely go check them out if you haven't yet. I'm sorry. I feel like I missed thoughts from that were on the tip of your tongue, both Dan and Sam. So I'm sorry if you've forgotten.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare made me want to get a perm, and I did when I was like 11.
I want to see pictures.
I don't know if I have any. If I can find them, yeah, I'll just DM you.
Thank you.
I'll DM you those
Roast
pictures.
them.
They
we
look
go live.
terrible.
We go live with them.
It looked terrible. Like, because I was just like, man, Nancy's so cool. I want to be like her, and my dumbass got a perm.
Yeah, but we all had bad haircuts back then, so.
Lauren will work it into a Region Free intro, guaranteed.
Oh my god.
I probably had a bowl cut back then or a skater cut or something.
Yeah, you had your head shaved back then. I had the skater cut.
94.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. Shaved head, buzzed head for a few years there. Anyway, again, we're back going local.
Just curb stomping people and doing.
I've been in some mosh pits. So. Orc, do you have any thoughts on New Nightmare before we move on?
A solid 6 out of 10.
Oh, that's high rank.
Dude, there's more high
IMDb
rankings with you than I thought.
Yeah.
I'm going to take one of my flipping you offs back.
Well,
He
hey,
only hated
fuck
2
you.
of the 7 movies so far.
Yep. 4 and 5 can suck my dick. So yeah.
You can give that bird back to Orc now.
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to let him keep it because, I'm going to keep it to myself because I think that's pretty great. York has a right to say that he hates those, I guess, but he's given more love to these other ones than I thought we were going to get from him. So
Yeah,
that's
Sam,
worth
not
something.
all of us use, sign language to greet people on shows, okay? Go on now.
Love it, Sam.
Yeah, Sam.
Right.
Yeah. 6 out of 10. And, I wouldn't say it's 1 and then 6, but yeah, probably top half of better of the films. Yeah.
Cool.
Would it get 7 if he whipped Wes Craven to death with the towel?
Oh,
That's a
Thinking
question for
about
you,
it.
Work.
I don't know. Can't answer that one.
Whipped him with the towel and called him Smiley.
It brings me back too much to part 2.
Whitney with a towel and calling me Smiley.
You're lucky you were never alone with Andy Dick.
I really am. I was close to his trailer, and it was night. It was a night shoot,
Oh,
but thankfully, I got away.
Oh, what's this film coming up?
This is a genius film.
It is.
This is
Best
a film
time-
I waited for well over a decade, probably since 1988.
Fuck yeah, we did.
best time I've ever had in a theater. I will say that. I actually saw that down in Texas, actually, and
Texas.
like screen worthy. Jason was there with a real machete, which I thought was awesome. Just a dude seeing the movie, nobody official or anything like that. Just
Cool.
carrying a giant machete into the movie theater. The cheering. Freddy versus Jason, you can pick at it, and obviously we all waited years and years and years, and all the rumors. If you remember back then, you go to any horror website, it's like where it's about to happen, and it never did. It delivered on the fight. It's not a scary film. It's not the dream film that you had in your head, but man, it delivered on what it needed to do.
It delivered. You're right,
Yeah.
and you said it. I went to the theater twice, and I don't do that even on movies I love, but great audiences.
Yeah, great audiences, and again, it ranks fairly high on my rankings. It's just a monster mashup, and yeah, I understand why people don't like it though. Like I said, it's a very easy one to poke holes, but
Well, the hardcore fans can just poke holes in it. Yes, I could do that too, but I mean, it did a lot of things so right too at the same time.
And for people who are saying who are more Nightmare, like they're more Nightmare on Elm Street fans than Friday the 13th, they're pissed off that Freddy quote unquote loses, and that's why they hate it. Like Steak and like probably CHH is fucking retarded. I'm sorry.
He didn't
That's
lose.
so
It was a
stupid.
draw. The only
Exactly.
thing they had to keep him, they had to kind of have Jason still walking around at the end because of Jason X. Without
Yeah.
destroying that, which is another reason why I love this movie too. The writers, even though they made some mistakes, one of their main rules was all the previous movies in these franchises happened. That we're keeping that in mind. We're not saying forget these we're not changing the lore for the most part. And that's very important to me, and that's why I dislike parts of movies like Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018. Don't tell me to forget what I love.
I get that. No, absolutely. And I don't quite get why we didn't get some kind of follow-up to it. It was a big hit. It grossed like 40 million that first weekend, which was huge, especially at that time for a horror film. And I don't know. Why didn't we get a sequel? They could have come up with something.
It was the biggest, I think, in both franchises as far as box office up to that point, right?
I think, well, inflation, you got to factor that
Not
in.
factoring inflation, I guess, but it made
Yeah.
a shit ton of money.
Yeah, it did quite well. Quite well.
Wasn't it one of the top movies that summer?
I don't
It was a big
remember.
I
one.
want to say it was like top 3 or top 5 that summer.
The
Probably
AMC
something
movies
like
in Burbank, it was my first movie I saw in Los Angeles right after I moved there that summer.
Mhm.
And they were
Yeah,
packed.
it was a curiosity piece, and it's weird because it didn't set off like a ton of versus movies. Now we're getting we're bringing like 10 different Spider-Mans and all this dumb crap. It like I don't know why they just ignored it.
You got Alien versus Predator out of it. And that's about
Yeah, that
it.
was a little bit later, wasn't it? Though
Not too long.
Not
though.
too much longer.
maybe
Like
not.
the next year.
Was it? Oh, okay.
think it
Well,
was
my
04.
my time's off then. Definitely better than Alien versus Predator.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's true.
Not comparable, but I did enjoy that one too. So don't get me started.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Alien versus Predator. I think it gets a little bit of an unfair rap sometimes. I mean, because I know a lot of people really like Alien versus Predator Requiem. That was not for me. I prefer the first AVP. So
There you go, Sam. There you go.
Yeah, agreed, Sam.
Mm.
I don't even know about Rec Room. Doesn't exist.
yeah,
But AVP's cool enough.
Well, it would exist if you could fucking see it, which you can't.
wow, man, I didn't even mention the interpretive dance. Now I'm not going to go back. We've already passed Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
We have. Bowl cut. And yes, I did know there was a fan film with Miko Hughes. And it did kind of look cool. I watched a little bit of the making of it on YouTube. But I'm not a fan film person. Because no matter how good it is, it can be totally professional looking. And always in my mind is, this isn't canon.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan film guy. I know people have loved these Jason things, but I just can't bring myself to care.
No,
You can't. I can't put the love into it. Like you just said, I can't bring yourself to care.
Yeah.
Yes, Chris. Yes. And it is a lot of fun, Ben. You guys are right.
I think they got. I mean, Ronnie Yu is the right person to direct this because I remember
You're going to get a lot of people disagreeing with you on that.
Well, they can suck my dick. That's fine. So, I mean, I loved Bride of Chucky when it came out, and one of the things that stuck out to me was the use of color in that movie, and it really does continue in Freddy versus Jason. So that did win me over. I think the movie is just like it has a solid beginning, the solid fight scene,
Yes.
and then the middle is just like kind of sad trombone noises in areas. Like there's some dialogue in there because fucking Monica Keena playing Lori. That's a fucking terrible character. She's just like a dumb blonde, and there's this weird there are incestuous undertones with regarding her and her father, and then Freddy's rapey at the end, and it's like, ew, I don't need any of this. I just want to see Freddy and Jason fight.
Freddy's always rapey. A. B. Not a bad word should be said about Monica Keena. And 3, the fucking director, if he's the reason that we did not get Kane Hodder as Jason in this, he sucks.
There's more to that. That's kind of a little more complicated. But I mean, yeah, I would have liked Kane Hodder, but
Sure.
That was my
Instead of
last
the-
note
instead of
here.
the
That
diner
was
guy
the
from
thing I
Jason
hated the
Takes
most.
Manhattan.
Yeah,
That was the thing I hated the most about it. Kane wasn't Jason, but
poor Monica
got it.
survived Jason. She survived Freddy, but she couldn't survive John Connor. That was her undoing, sadly.
So, okay, the thing is, like, even if Freddy is rapey in every other iteration, what pissed me off about the Laurie as a character is that I've been watching these fucking movies since I was a kid. Every fucking time, I mean, with the exception of 2, but I'm seeing this strong woman, this strong female character go toe to toe with Freddy and kick his ass. I'm sorry, that's what I grew up with, and I started to like it, and then you give me this fucking neutered ass version of a heroine? I don't think so.
you forgot the first time tends to get a little messy.
Yeah, that's gross. That's
I'm
fucking
sorry.
gross.
I'm
It's
going to
fucking
go
gross.
shame myself now.
It just gets grosser in the remake.
It
But-
does.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this twice. Like, I saw it once because they did the Rolling Road show for Ain't It Cool Movies, and they had like this big camp hack and slash thing near Austin, and they had the inflatable screen. So I went to that, and I'm on the DVD extras briefly when they have the camp hack and slash featurette.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I saw it later on in the theater after it officially premiered. So I don't regret going and spending money to go see it. It's just, for me, it's like, it's really disheartening to see such a weak heroine. And also the line, Freddy uses fire, or Freddy died by fire, Jason by water. How can we use that? Fuck off.
It is stupid. That's
Fuck
a
off.
stupid
That's
line.
the
I'll
worst
agree with
line
you.
in this whole fucking franchise. So I don't hate it's not the worst. It's not the worst Nightmare on Elm Street movie for me because thankfully we have the remake. But it's very low on the list because dude, why would you why do you have to make it so gross?
Okay. I've got no comment at this point.
I like the movie. I have a lot of fun with it. I'm trying to be careful what I'm saying. My wife is actually sitting right next to me, so I
got away with the other one because mine's upstairs.
I was actually on a date for this one, so and let me try and see if I can say this correctly this time. It was weird for me to see my date hitting on the waitress at Hooters more than I was. It wasn't something I was expecting. So I think the last time I said, unfortunately, my date was hitting on the waitress from Hooters more than I was. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. We actually went out of town to see this one. Not to get too racial on this, but and Jess can attest to this. We at the time we didn't have a lot of color diversity, I guess, where we live. But about 30 minutes away from where we live is a much larger town, and there's a lot of black people that live there. And this was the first time I'd ever gone to a movie up in this area, and there were a lot of black and Jess leaves. There were a lot of black people in the theater. So it was first time I'd ever actually lived out that stereotype of black people talking in the theater. So but anyway, off of that, the movie was fun.
He lived the sheltered life even in our town. There were people of many colors in our hometown.
Not a lot.
Dude, go back to the 60s yearbook and we had, black people on the homecoming court and it wasn't even trying to make a statement. What are you talking about?
Did we really?
It's probably just,
maybe I did live more sheltered. I don't know. Anyway, my point was
big
that,
crack rock.
Jess has actually got the Michael Jackson disease, so he's really offended right now.
I do get white blotches sometimes because of my pigmentation.
Actually, my son does have that, but anyway, I apologize for upsetting you, Jess, and making you run away.
That's okay. I forgive you. I guess
that's sweet, Smiley.
And yeah, you and Dan. I tell you, Ben Grimm makes a great point on this. Not to cut you off too much in your racial slurs. Catherine Isabel uses a body double. Yes, I was very disappointed when I found that out. It destroyed some fantasies.
She's usually always great. Not so much in this movie. I mean, she doesn't have a whole lot to do, but Ginger Snaps, man, what a surprise when I rented that.
She's fantastic in those.
Yeah,
it's good in this.
So much.
That was just one of those random movies you have no expectations of, and you pick it up, and oh my god, it's so good.
This is fucked, B.
No, we weren't in the 1960s yearbooks, but my parents were.
Jess is a vampire.
Hey, shh. I told you that in private. I'm sorry, I lost track.
Hilarious.
Freddy versus Jason, last comments.
Fun movie. Not the best of the franchise, but fun movie. It was what it needed to be. I knew we weren't going to get some horrifying, dream film that when it's really people just wanted to cheer for them beating the shit out of each other.
Exactly.
So,
Ready
And you
for
know what?
Orcs? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say the opening scene sealed it for me because I was worried about because they're both in hell at this point
Mhm.
still, basically. And I was like, just give me a cheap explanation at the beginning. Don't just
It worked.
bring them back. And it worked. Freddie's opening monologue. I was like, I'm in. I'm here.
That opening monologue, that, was so solid. I was so happy about it because you got to stick the landing right at the beginning. I was like, that was quick and easy, in and out, awesome.
Damn right, Sam.
Orc, what were you going to say?
Sorry.
Orc shitty IMDb rating system, 8 out of 10. Coming hot out the gates. That's right.
sweet.
Yeah. Dank memes.
I fucking love this film.
Hell yeah. Or
People
what do you
people who
mean?
say it's not a part of a Nightmare on Elm Street franchise or Friday the 13th franchise are stupid.
Yeah,
I'm not
it
gonna
is. Of
name
course
any
it is.
fucking names.
Let me just take away another middle finger I gave you earlier. Or I apologize. Why did I come in thinking you were going to say, yeah, like Lauren, Nightmare 1's okay, but the rest suck?
Because I did that on one show just as a
I
meme.
think- Okay.
Yeah.
Now I found out so much more. I can love you again.
Yeah.
Awesome. And it is. I want to make that. I agree with his point 100%. I'm tired of hearing the word spin off with this. It is a Nightmare on Elm Street Part 8, and it is a Friday the 13th Part 11.
It's always some guy, they're like, it's not, doesn't belong in either one of these franchises. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Yeah, it does.
Thank you.
Yeah, also,
It's the bookend of both.
Yeah, and I mean,
Sorry, go
also,
ahead,
if
Sam.
you wanted to kind of keep something as put out one more sequel, give me Old Man Freddy and give me Old Woman Alice. Alice isn't dead. Alice is probably one of those people in Weston Hills and Freddy vs. Jason, the ones that couldn't stop dreaming. And they were just stuck in just a dreamless coma.
Ooh.
Not just unconscious. Those are probably all the people that have some abilities to, use their dreaming skills.
Yes.
So it's old woman Alice, and then she's, she wakes up, she has to find out about Jacob, tie that into from Freddy's dead. Let's make a fucking movie. And it's if
I'd
they're
watch
both
it.
to be old.
It's not quite my slasher squad movie with Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, and Michael Myers, but I'd watch it.
Could be worse.
Okay.
I mean, but then again, I would have loved Peter Jackson's Old Man Freddy idea, so
I think I would
been
too.
A cool Freddy's dead.
Are we all in agreement, though, that we're glad that they didn't do the whole Fred head thing?
Okay, so
Yes.
I know there's a documentary called Fred Heads. Is that related to it?
There was a script, I think, in between on, wasn't it Freddy versus Jason, that there was a cult of fans called the Fred Heads that were going to revive or bring him back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Something
remember
like
that
that.
treatment. Yeah. Was that? I had one of the spec scripts, and I don't remember whose it was, but it was. I know Freddy turned into a Christmas tree at one point, and it had that baby from Jason Goes to Hell grown up, or a kid.
That wasn't like David Shaw's script, was it?
I think it was. I think it was Shaw's.
Yeah, he can go fuck himself too, by the way.
Great writer, Jess.
He's a mediocre writer, and he bashed Iowa in the Texas Chainsaw 3 Leatherface commentary, so he can go fuck himself.
Iowa pride.
He wrote Kill Riff.
I'm sitting in my basement, David. I lived Hollywood, and I choose to leave it. So anyway.
Are we ignoring the last one?
No, we are not ignoring the last one.
What are you talking about? Good night, everybody.
Okay, I've got a story for this one. Also, I really need to I've been watching you and Kory smoke like all night, and I'm like, I need a cigarette. So, this movie is dog shit,
Yes.
and I have seen some people on Twitter who are like hardcore Freddy thoughts that are even on board for this, and I'm like, well, that's why you're a thought, because you can't use your brain.
Freddy thoughts.
Yeah. And y'all probably know who I'm talking about, and she can suck a dick too. Anyway, it's not no, this movie is bad, and it's just again, why do we have to keep making everything so rapey? The fact that you can't go to sleep because you might die in your sleep, that's enough of a premise. If that's not enough of a premise and you can't write me a story, then just you shouldn't be on the job. You just shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And, again, this is a really weak version of Nancy. She's barely Rooney Mara's barely doing anything. She's phoning everything in. The only cool part about this movie is the whole thing about the micronaps, because your brain actually doesn't really stop dreaming. It's just a matter of being conscious, conscious versus unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, neat.
But that's not going to save this movie.
They didn't do anything with it. So, I mean, fuck.
You don't need to defend your opinion of it. Honestly, to me, you can talk about how bad the CGI is. What we have to the scenes that they recreated from the original are subpar to the original. Just all in all, the only thing I'm going to say now, hated it. Done.
Freddie, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I don't quite get just recreating all the iconics. I mean, I can just watch the original. I mean, this is technically better made than some of the sequels, but it's just kind of a pointless movie for me more than anything. Why do I need to be watching this? I mean, maybe not Psycho remake level, but and I do like Jackie Earl Haley. I don't blame anything on this movie on him, but yeah, more pointless. Just I'd rather them do something completely different. Do something along the lines of New Nightmare again or something, rather than just okay, let's stick as close as we can to the original and recreate the iconic scenes. You remember this? Here it is again. Why?
100% agree, Dan.
Yeah.
So I saw this in the theater, and I was on a date, and he drove, and I wanted to walk out of the theater, but I didn't have a way back. And the thing that pissed me off so bad during this movie is the part where Quentin is talking to his father, who's the principal of the school, I believe, and saying that we put an innocent man to death. We were 5. We didn't know what we were saying. Which, if a child comes to you and says, this person is hurting me and touching me, that is a huge cause for alarm. And I just nearly stroked out. I was so fucking mad because it's I went into this movie with no expectations, and then you give me that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Absolutely the fuck not. It's just, honestly, it's just where I draw. That's really where I draw the line. Nancy sucks. That end, the whole end with her in the bed in front,
No.
Why are we doing this? Why are we doing any of this?
Dan said, it's unnecessary, just like the Friday remake. It's just unnecessary. There's nothing you've brought to the table here. I'd rather see a more creative, off-the-wall sequel than unnecessary.
Out of all the remakes from all the big 4 franchises, I like every single movie better than this, except Rob Zombie's Halloween's 1 and 2. Fuck those movies.
Yes. Hated it.
I'm going to have to bow out in just a few minutes because I got to get ready for another stream. But I am curious to ask, do you want more? Or is it just kind of maybe a franchise they're better off?
I don't need any more. I'm good.
Yeah.
At this point, no. I mean, of course, I'm always going to welcome if you get Robert Englund back for something. Just don't break what has happened. But if I don't, I'm fine with Freddy versus Jason sort of being the bookend of both of my top two favorite.
And I don't
slasher
want a Peter Cushing.
franchises.
I don't want a Peter Cushing, Robert Englund. I have zero interest in that. If you're not going to have him as Freddy in makeup, just don't do
Yes.
it. I have no interest in that.
And that's how it should be if they do it. And if he can, as long as he can stand and say his lines, there's no reason not to have Freddy, or I mean Robert playing Freddy, because use a stunt double and all the movement craziness.
Yeah,
but if he can spout his lines, he can be Freddy.
Yeah, the small window, maybe it can still happen. I think he'll take a paycheck if it, if it arrives.
And I'll be there.
him,
I'll be there. But if we don't, I'm satisfied.
Yeah,
I have 8 films I can watch over and over.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I am gonna hop off, but it has
Go
been
ahead
a
and
pleasure.
Thank you, Dan, so much for coming. Go ahead and promote any upcoming shows. We're pretty much wrapping up here. I think we got maybe a thought or two left from people on this horrible movie, but wrap her up.
Flesh Wound features here on YouTube at midnight. There is an unboxing for Trick or Treat Studios, and might hang out a little bit. So check that out. And I will be back here for the In the Army Now commentary with you guys. Andy Dick will be in the house. It'll be awesome. So good night, Smiley, and everybody else. I'll see you.
Bye, Dan.
Bye, Dan.
Thanks,
Later.
Dan. And again, like all the others here and who were here earlier, I'll have the links down below in the description. Definitely by tomorrow. So go to their channels.
I'm going to let you go first.
For what?
For this movie.
Yeah, it's really bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
now there's another finger taken away from him.
Yeah. But Rob Zombie seems to top its shittiness every single time, except for 2 films, his first 2 that he did. So yeah, House and Devil's Rejects. That's it.
House is the best one to me, and even that was sort of ripped off from Texas Chainsaw, but I forgave him. It was enough different that it worked.
I'd give it, maybe being generous, like 3 out of 10.
The Nightmare remake.
Yeah,
that's overly generous.
And remake. Well, requel.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to be the only one standing here semi-defending this movie.
Good night.
I go back and forth on this movie. I seen it in theaters, and my initial reaction to it was I thought it was not, I think I told Jess, as good, but it's not as good as the original. There are definitely problems with the movie. I hate the CGI in the movie. I hate the fact that they use CGI as part of the makeup. I'm not a huge fan of the makeup as a whole. He kind of, I don't even know how to describe it, but the makeup doesn't work for me. As far as Rooney Mara goes, I was more hoping that the blonde was going to be the lead in it. But other than that, I didn't have a problem with the movie. It's got really cool lines in it. I love the line, "Why are you screaming? I haven't cut you yet." I think that ranks right up there with "Welcome to Prime Time, bitch."
Yeah.
The micro naps that you brought up, Sam, I thought were a great idea. I think that using the concept that maybe he didn't do any of it was cool. I kind of wish they would have stuck with it, but as far as it being unnecessary, how are you going to know if something's unnecessary unless you try? If you don't try, then you never know what you're going to get.
That's true.
You can Jess said that unless Robert Englund's playing Freddy, he doesn't really care to see it. Me personally, if there's a new sequel coming out or a new remake coming out of Nightmare on Elm Street, I love the character Freddy. I love Robert Englund as Freddy, but I'm going to check it out anyways. I'll watch it no matter who's playing the part. So
I agree. Yeah.
Well, do you remember when Billy Bob Thornton's name was being thrown around for Freddy?
yeah,
I was like, okay, I'm fine. Yeah, I was pretty much open for whatever, and I didn't know anything about the remake as far as like any extra details. I just, again, this was more so that one line that I got so pissed off at. Again, that's like, if you're gonna make Freddy, if Freddy's the bad guy, just keep Freddy the bad guy. Don't throw around this. Well, we could have said anything. I'm like, just keep Freddy the bad guy. And again, also it's that case of like me seeing strong female characters through all these other movies, and then you're giving me this pansy ass Nancy, which maybe that's a little redundant. And it's just it's like that's what's disappointing. It's like you can cast somebody else as Nancy, but the character is diluted. So
I think they could have done without using the character Nancy. I mean, they could have used a different character in that spot, and
yeah,
it wouldn't have drawn so much comparison to the original.
like do it with Chris instead.
Yeah,
I actually kind of like that actress. She was trying, like she was putting forth an effort. So
the scene, the bathtub scene, it wasn't a problem for me. I don't think it was done horribly. The scene where Freddy comes through the wall, though, was dog shit. I absolutely hated that. But I mean, like, Orc, you said this was what, your second least favorite of all your big four for remakes? I like this.
I go, if I had to rank them, like I'd go Halloween, then Friday, then TCM, then Nightmare on Elm Street at number 4, then probably Child's Play at 5.
I liked this better than I liked Friday the 13th. I hated the Friday the 13th remake.
I think they were both unnecessary, but I think I hate this more.
I remember watching the Friday the 13th remake in theaters, and I enjoy Kane Hodder as Jason. So to me, Jason doesn't run. And I remember sitting in the theater yelling at the screen, going, "Jason doesn't run," every time he ran. So I had more of a problem with the Friday the 13th remake than I did the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. So if that makes me a bad guy, then fine. If I'm going to be the only one who's going to semi-defend this movie, then fine. So
no, it doesn't make you a bad guy. It's fine because it's like I actually like the Friday the 13th remake because I don't have that much of an attachment to Jason, and as far as characterization goes, so I wouldn't notice things like him running. I would just be like, well, there goes Jason running through the woods again. But no, like somebody has to stand up for this movie, and I mean. Like, I respect y'all's opinions a lot more than a thought on Twitter. I'm just going to say that.
I'll go 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10.
I'll go. I wouldn't say I'm standing up for the movie, but I'm not standing up tall. I'm kind of hunched over, ducking
You're making
behind
good
people.
points for it.
So, but no, I enjoyed it, and I think I said this on a previous stream once that. I seen it the first time. I loved it. I bought it when it came out on DVD, and I thought it was boring. And then I watched it again later, and I didn't think it was that bad. Then I watched it again, and I thought it was boring. And then I watched it again, and it wasn't that bad again. So I go back and forth on it. I mean, certain things about the movie definitely stick out as eyesores to me. But for the most part, I can sit down and watch it and
Like a
have a good
bisexual.
time with it. So
What?
Jess trying to be
He said he
funny.
went back and forth on it. Good night.
I don't know if we can be friends anymore, Jess.
Have you had enough, of defending this horrible piece of crap so we can get on out of here?
Well, as far as what Dan asked before he jumped off, I would love to see another sequel. And like I said earlier, you never know what you're going to get unless you try. So, if somebody's out there that has the rights or whatever, Wes Craven's family has the rights to the movie, then give us another sequel. I want to see it. So
Same here. The new Scream movie and the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre I really, really enjoyed. And
I did
thought
have fun
Halloween
with both of
Kills.
them.
Halloween Kills. It didn't piss me off at all. But I didn't think it was a fucking masterpiece.
I've grown
I
to
will-
accept those. That's a whole nother conversation, Orc. But yeah, I've grown to accept the new concept of the Halloweens. I had fun watching it with my family, from my grandparents even to my little 5. He was 5. He didn't really
That's
pay
awesome.
attention to most of it. But that's about all the nice thing I can say. We had fun because it was another Halloween movie, and we watched it around Halloween.
I will say, people were bringing up the lady who was holding the iron in Halloween Kills.
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody forget the fact that the one chick in Freddy's Dead beat the piss out of her dad with an iron?
Oh yeah, no, I remember that.
It's a coffee pot, wasn't it?
No.
Oh no, wait.
She was swinging it by the cord.
Oh,
No, it was a
That's
coffee
right.
pot, I think. Hold on, I'll have to Google that.
now we.
Corey, when you smoke
It's very important for me to figure out.
Corey, when you smoke cigarettes, you remind me of John McClane. in Die
Thank you.
Hard.
Oh, that's a compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, she beat him with a coffee pot.
I probably remind you of John Waters when I smoke mine.
Something too epic. Too epic.
Anyway.
Okay, so I was
So
wrong.
what was
a
it?
coffee
It
pot.
was a
It was a
coffee pot,
coffee
Sam.
pot.
Yeah, I mean, I could see where it could be an iron though, because it's like the cord was wrapped around her wrist, so it's
Well,
like
I think wasn't his face. It almost looked like an iron imprinted his face. When he
That's
was
what
all
I thought.
smashed up.
Yeah.
So
there
I
was an
get that.
indentation. Couldn't remember if it was iron shaped or not.
I always thought it was an iron. I'm probably wrong, but that's okay.
Mm.
Well,
There's
I
stuff
want to
never
think
remember all the time.
Huh?
they can't all
No.
be winners,
Yeah.
as I've learned this episode and many lines that I said. So
Ah,
About 95% of them.
well, we
Thanks,
threw it down
Corey.
real hard tonight.
we did. We started off throwing fists right away. I think in the first film.
Oh, I know. Christian got all aggro like right away on us.
I loved it though. I'm so glad.
It's the point of the show.
Dr. CZ's death. Thank you, Chris, for hanging out with us this whole time. And thank you all the chat. And I'm sorry, I'm always off on the chat, like what's going on. I post their comments 10 minutes later. And thank you, Sam and Orc, for sticking it out with us the whole time. Another long show.
I couldn't leave early. I couldn't.
So glad you didn't. And
Yes, but thank you to Steak and Christian and Dan for coming on, and
definitely all you guys popping on. Just it makes the show. Obviously, wouldn't have it without you.
I forgot. I had a story about getting engaged because at a photo op with Robert Englund and Heather Langenkamp. But I think that counts.
Oh. That definitely counts.
Yeah.
Just bring back more. It was fun. Thank you guys. Yes. And go check out their channels. Sam, since you guys are here, do you have anything coming up on? Sam's on. She's got Sheebie Jeebies, and she's co-host of Visited by Voices.
Yep. Nothing on Chibi Jeebies, mostly just because like there's just not enough time in the day to like. I mean, I have a video recorded for the extra view. I haven't done anything with it because I don't have time to fucking edit shit. So right now it's just I'm just on Visited by Voices. Visited by Voices 1 on YouTube. Our next show is going to be on April 3rd. It's going to be a community show, and yes, I'm going to be there even though it's WrestleMania weekend. Duh. So I'm there. I'm also on Region Free, so go check them out as well. And I'm on Twitter at Shibi_GBs if you want more hot takes. Me being pissed off at people.
Oh, yes. And Orc, you've been doing a couple of quick short videos that I recommend you go and checking out.
Such
Yeah,
a
I did
beautiful
a
singing
cover
voice.
of. Yeah, thank you. Did
Oh,
a
Orc and I
cover
still
of-
have to do our duet of Kiss from a Rose.
Oh, you want to do a duet of that shit? Let's go.
I think Orc nailed that one. You guys should pick something else.
Okay, we'll work it out.
There's so
back.
much Kory can tell you, so much
So
he
much
can
he can
say.
say.
You're
Here.
Just
Good night, everyone.
Rose.